What's up?
Oh, whoa.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome
Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Kind of like our first couple drives there on defense against Louisville.
False start right there.
False start. The energy's not there. The juice is not there.
Wow,
we're covering. We're going to go 0-1. We are 0-1.
We're 0-1 right
We're
now.
going to go 1-0 the rest of the show, starting from this point.
Kudos to you. It took Jeff Brom totally out coaching us for you to pronounce Louisville properly.
Well, listen, I know you got a lot of stuff on your chest. Your chest is heavy.
I wanted to do a show on Thursday, and I was ready to go. And then I lost my voice at Turnstile on Saturday night, which was, if you read the reviews in the Miami New Times at 3 points, a moment in time for the South Florida rock scene. Lost my voice there. So you had it on Sunday. So I've been percolating. I've had to eat it on the national show with the Levitard show because that's a role. But I'd like to get into the weeds a little bit on what happened there, because this is really my only opportunity to get into X's and O's there before we're on to Stanford and trying to go 1-0. But your false start there has us at 1st and 15, and this is not a good running down.
Behind the sticks.
We're gonna do a 2-yard run up the A gap, and the third pass is gonna get picked off.
Pete, hop in. Is that a new mic, by the way? The one you get the black and yellow?
We had a purple cover on it previously, so it's same mic.
Popping though with the yellow.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Yeah. Oh my God, the chat's already going about JoJo. All right, can I do the JoJo thing real quick?
Oh, you want to do one?
I want just real quick, because
every
show I've been telling you how tired I am of the JoJo discussion.
Pete, national reporter. Tired of JoJo.
I'm tired of the JoJo thing, and Lamar Jackson knows what he's doing. That's a troll job by Lamar Jackson, and an effective one. Like, that guy beat us twice. His team beat us, and then he beats us in the postgame because we're all fighting. And Omar Kelly. Here's my problem with Omar Kelly's tweet, which said, like, it took a shot at the media about not finding out what's going on with JoJo Trader. Do you guys watch these press conferences? I know I do. I'm sick. Many of you do. If you're watching this show, you're a sicko like us. Top 3 player asked about since this season started is JoJo Trader. The coaches are constantly asked about JoJo Trader. The whole notion that the media is not doing its job around JoJo Trader is such a fallacy, and it's ignorant, quite honestly. You're dumb, or you're just not paying attention. One or the other.
I would never call our viewers.
I'm not calling him names, but like, you're either not paying attention or you are, and you think it's not enough JoJo Trader questions. Like, what has he done to command being asked about? This is quantifiable. Asked about top 3 on the roster. He was good in high school, had a good spring. I get it. As good as
Iowa State touchdown.
As good as that spring was, that's how non-existent the fall was. All right. Guy was a non-factor in fall camp.
Injury played a role.
I understand. But that's also, like, these are not secrets. These are openly discussed. All you have to do is run a Google. If you want to know why JoJo Trader isn't playing, it's because, he's still developing. He dealt with an injury. He's slow to get back. The team needs to trust him more. It's the same issue that anybody who ever struggles with playing time has ever run into. Guys need to develop both on the field and off the field to a point that the team can trust them with snaps. It's the same thing that's happening with Ray Ray. It's the same thing that's happening with Nightcar. They don't have the publicists, apparently, that JoJo Trader does. But please stop with this narrative. You're asking about wide receiver 4 right now at a time where I understand he's got a skill set that can help, no doubt. I would love to see JoJo develop into the player that he teased us with in spring camp and in the Pop-Tart Bowl, no doubt. I would love to see it. He's not there yet, folks.
By the way, did you guys notice that video? Did you see that video where Lamar Jackson was like going to buy like junk food in the middle of the night, or like some kind of like Taco Bell or something, like looked quite blazed? Did you guys see that video?
No.
Check out that video. I think Lamar Jackson, when he got injured, he basically turned into a CanesInSight live chat member. The guy's blazing, going to grab food in the middle of the night. He's making tweets about JoJo Trader. He's basically like Ghost and Von Donaldson at quarterback for the Ravens. But go ahead.
And one last thing. on this JoJo thing. Like, I understand people have had their opinions. You can talk about position coaches and the productivity associated with those coaches and their groups. If you want to go at Kevin Beard for not playing JoJo, what do you do with Malachi Tony immediately making an impact on this team? When he was 17 years old, he earned the trust of the staff and showed you why you watching at home that probably weren't familiar with his high school game or what he didn't practice, exactly why he should be out on the field. CJ Daniels, even though he was dealing with an injury last year, wasn't doing this for LSU. So you could maybe hold JoJo against him. You could maybe hold Nikar against him, but I see a now 18-year-old and a guy that was written off and decided not to write back, delivering great number 1 and number 2 wide receiver numbers here. Someone needs to step up. Someone needs to ascend. Someone needs to develop. You can't just take the bad and ignore the good.
Consistent trend, my friend. We talk about it all the time. The guys that you don't have to worry about or ask questions about how they're going to approach things, how they're going to do everything and be consistent, take care of their bodies, everything else, they're the ones that play. If you want to know why people play, look at all the other stuff. CJ Daniels got surgery, and there was not a soul that said, I wonder how CJ Daniels is going to attack rehab. I wonder if CJ Daniels is going to lose focus being outside. That's not even a consideration with that kind of player. God forbid that Malachi Tony has to miss any time.
I don't ever want to think about that day.
But if he did, he is working like a man. Not saying JoJo didn't, because JoJo was injured.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I think the injury stalled his momentum that had been building from spring and from summer. So it wasn't a situation where like he got injured because of something he wasn't supposed to be doing. He got injured playing football. I was there when he got injured. And I haven't even heard that he didn't work in rehab or anything like that. If that's the case, I have not heard that. So I don't want to get that misconstrued.
No. Like, we know how long it took for him to get back. Like, I know I was also there when he got injured. Like, if I suffered that injury, I'd probably still be on crutches. Like, yeah, these guys work hard to get back on the field. But to your point, he missed valuable fall camp time. And the rigidity of that too. It's not just getting reps with your quarterback. It's the routine of being there around your teammates, absorbing the playbook. Like, all that stuff matters. Honestly, if you want to have this discourse around Josh Moore, I understand it, because Josh Moore was really good in fall camp and showed development. And at the USF game, he showed where he can help this team. I get that. To me, that is a more realistic conversation, and that is in good faith. But what's happening with JoJo is just, this is a totally social media created thing that is like super divisive amongst the fan base. It's not even rooted in truth. Josh Moore is rooted in truth, right? Can we quickly dissect what's going on with Josh Moore? And I know, Pete, you've been on the social media investigation. Josh Moore is acting like a young wide receiver. Can you imagine a young wide receiver acting like a young wide receiver that wants playing time? Can you believe it?
I got distracted for a second. I saw this Nico Jones tweet about Gary drinking wine with Mark Duper at Fritanga Taconica. And then I come back to you, and you're saying, what is Josh Moore is grounded in truth?
More grounded in truth than the JoJo thing. That's it. We can at least have that debate.
Oh, I didn't see all the lead up to it. So I heard was the standalone Josh Moore. I thought I was at a revival.
Here's what I can say. Here's what I can say about Josh Moore that I can't actually say about JoJo Trader. Josh Moore developed throughout fall camp, showed he can be a player, was available. JoJo Trader was dealing with an injury, which is why he couldn't display those things that I'm outlining right now with Josh Moore. And unlike JoJo Trader, Josh Moore on the field in a big game against a good USF team showed you exactly where his skill set can help this team. Like, if we're going to apply this type of energy to a wide receiver discussion, it shouldn't be JoJo Trader, who is yet to earn that from you guys. It should be Josh Moore. Like, there's a debate to be had there.
Brandon's saying, can we talk about the loss now? I don't know if we have enough content for the annual, what am I saying? The daily JoJo Trader hit on the YouTube channel.
I just contributed to this toxic dialogue by leading the show with it, but that's me closing the book on it. All right, folks.
We'll get a crossfire with you and Uncle Luke and someone else, and we'll talk JoJo, but the loss.
Okay.
Right, which he played one snap in. By the way, real quick, actually, you know what? I can't let go of JoJo. Here's what I'll say. I think
Pete, you okay?
I'm fine. I'm enjoying.
Pete does this every day.
Yeah.
Pete does this every day.
I'll bounce it to you for Josh Moore.
I think there is a world We play Stanford this week. You got to go 1-0. Stanford struggles against the pass. You know, we played Louisville. We played Louisville. You go down 14-0. It's kind of a crazy game. I mean, we lost. There was a lot of things that you could play more players if it is a different kind of game. Let's say
we're chasing that game.
You're going down 14-0 to Louisville. That changes it changes things a lot. So that was not necessarily the type of game where a JoJo trader who hasn't been able to get going gets going. I thought it might be going into it, but it wasn't with the way it played out.
Okay.
You're going against Stanford, one of the worst pass defenses in the country. The inventors of the white corner.
You say they don't recruit good corners, and you're right, because they recruited Richard Sherman as a wide receiver.
Right. Well, they had, what's the guy on the Dolphins? The white corner doesn't play.
White corner that Tyreek says
Ethan
is faster.
Bonner. He's a Stanford guy. But anyways, their pass defense is subpar. You could see us, and it's 30-point spread. If Miami is on their way to going 1-0, doing the things necessary to go 1-0 this week, I could see a world where JoJo Trader gets loose.
Yeah.
And then all of our conversation changes immediately. And maybe somebody who, yeah, they had a setback with the injury and you would have hoped to see that they make an impact earlier. But they get some wind behind their back and they're rolling and things are going well and the good feelings continue. I could see it playing out that way. It could also play out the same way it's played out every week and barely plays, and we get a clickbait video about it.
But D, it doesn't necessarily have to play out that way just for JoJo, which apparently has the entire fan base's energy. It could play that way out for Johnson, Moore, and Upshaw, which honestly demand the same amount for a team that is looking for a viable third option for a fan base that is looking for it too. Like, I don't understand why all the energy is so focused on JoJo. To me, the more interesting conversation is these other wide receivers who at practice and oftentimes in games I have seen, well, not oftentimes in games, but with the opportunities that they've had, Pete, they've actually made plays. Like Upshaw, Tony Johnson, Josh Moore. Like, I've been at practices where they've been very impressive. Well, I don't understand the disconnect.
I mean, look, the only thing I'll add to this is we also have to understand it's when they're not getting the ball, right? Like it's what are they doing? How are they blocking? And JoJo, I mean, I don't want to say JoJo can't block because we've seen him do it before. We saw him have a highlight block against Notre Dame. But we as fans sometimes look at the highlights and we really, I think, micro analyze. Like, we are now microanalyzing the one play that he played, trying to see, hey, did he run his route correctly? Was he running hard? Like what was he doing there? Was he lined up correctly? Was it Carson Beck's fault? You see, like, we're asking all these questions based on one play that he was in. So we don't have all the information, but I will say that we have to also know that even when these receivers aren't getting the ball, they're being judged. So what are you doing when you're not getting the ball? Right.
But while we're microanalyzing how he blocks on a play, we're not giving the same amount of attention to 2 impressive touchdown catches from Josh Moore, which I'm saying, like, look, I'm here for, like, this guy should be playing more discourse when it looks like the offense could clearly use a wide receiver 3. I just don't think it's good faith to have that with JoJo. Anyways, like, we'll go on to the loss here.
K-Max saying that I created the JoJo hype. So I'll say this. I said this on the show earlier today. There's spring practice, there's summer workouts, and then there is August camp. And then, of course, the season with the games. That's the order of how these things go. In spring, I promise you, the guys that were making plays most consistently on the practice field and looking the most athletic, making the most plays, were JoJo Trader and Elijah Lofton. You were to ask anybody at those practices, they tell you the same thing because that's what was happening. If you ask the coaches, hey, these 2 guys, number 1, number 9, are going to be key parts of our offense moving forward because they are guys that can make plays with the ball, get open, do a lot of things versatility-wise. That was the thought coming out of spring. Summer, continue to do the right things. You heard good progress. Both of those guys, I think, suffered injuries, and the bounce back from the injuries has not been as good as you want. Loss of timing with Beck, whatever it was. Remember, Beck was not the quarterback in spring.
No, which is another reason why you shouldn't really put so much stock into it.
Spring, a lot of times it pans out. Sometimes it doesn't. I think this is a scenario.
Amon was good with it when he said evidence in Joku at one of the greatest camps you've ever seen.
We trust me. I was out there driving that train. But then when you get to like August, which is like right before the season, and I'm going to use a soccer term because I like this one. Form. The guys that are in form in August are usually the guys that are making plays in September.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe me, chat, listen to any show that was recorded in August and tell me the first 2 words that we talk about every show: Malachi Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Anajar Levine, then Malachi Tony. Every single show.
Yeah, you don't get credit for that. I get it. Look, you're in the content game. What are you supposed to do? Not share like this guy's flashing in practice when it's actually so? I get it. I just think that it's a bad faith discourse in a lot of fans because either they're amplifying something that they read on a message board, or they have this impression, or look, that was an exciting play that he had in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And people are familiar with what he did in high school. They want to see this guy. I get it. But guys, there are certain things here that you just are not informed on. And to criticize the media for not doing their job here is just wrong. Let's get to the loss, because look, while I predicted Miami to win this, I also predicted Louisville to have 24 points, and I had the closest score on this show.
You did. You were spooked.
I was worried about this.
Mike, be careful. Watchdogs here. Watchdogs here, Mike. Just careful, Mike.
Careful. Okay, I don't want the watchdog watching over me. I assume the watchdog is watching over me at all times.
What a head of hair.
That's a great looking watchdog. Good boy. So
send him on game day. Make him a star.
There's the discussion and the reputation that Mario Cristobal has had and the University of Miami has had for several years. When you have bye weeks to prepare, why aren't you more prepared? Well, this was an interesting matchup on Friday because both coaches had additional time to prepare, and you guys were very insightful in your scout of Louisville. Man, head straight up, these guys cannot block us. You guys are smart. You know who's smarter than you? Jeff Brom. He knows that he can't block them either. So what did he do? And it's something that Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor and this entire defensive line need to get used to. Cut blocks. These cut blocks were super effective against Miami, especially when Louisville was like, all I need is to buy myself a second.
Yeah, balls
1.3, 1.5, at most 2 seconds. You don't have to actually block somebody and test your mettle against Ruben Bain if you take out his legs immediately. Miami was not prepared for that. Now, they adjusted as the game went on. They sent blitzes. After Louisville punched Miami in the mouth and we were rocked with those 14 points, Miami actually held them in check. Another important play that wasn't part of the discussion, and look, it was right on the line, but I haven't really heard this anywhere, D. While we were busy challenging the spot on the field with a fake field goal, no one really challenged whether or not the holder's knee was down. It's college football, after all. If you have your knee down when you receive the ball, you're down. It's an unfair advantage when you run a fake. The timing, I would have liked to have seen more angles if we had a replay of it, or if the coaches on our staff had this in their brains, they would have made a point of contention. Let's review that. So that was a mistake. And there was a good coaching job by Jeff Brom. And look, it might have been legal. I didn't see enough there, but that was missed in the entire fake field goal discourse, which everybody in the planet knew that was going to be a fake, except for us. And it appeared from the celebration and what the game ops said. And I'll get to them in a second.
Real quick, though, to be clear, anytime there's a fake field goal or there's a field goal or a punt, half the fans in the audience are saying, watch the fake.
Yeah.
So the odds were that eventually they're going to hit the fake.
All right.
In in-game.
Adding a Jeff Brom as a dog element to this and how good that drive was. This one felt more likely than not. But I hear you. But from the players' reaction, they didn't necessarily know the game situation, and I know the game ops didn't. And that leads me to my other point. That place, and Amon touched on this on his show, was toxic to start the game.
Yeah.
It was a bad crowd late arriving. It ended up filling out. But what do you do when you have a thinner crowd at the start of the game? Yeah, you make up for it. You boost levels on sound. Dude, the sound on the music and the pregame intro to get the people that are in their seats into the game was so muted, so muffled, so bad. It felt like amateur football. And then the game operator, the PA announcer decided, let's try some new stuff. And he said, first down Miami Hurricanes after they stop a fake field goal, which wasn't the case because we knew that down in distance, they could be short of the end zone and maintain possession, which is what happened. Carson Beck trots out on the field, and we're like, now leading your Miami Hurricanes, Carson Beck. There was a play in this game, and I was like left slack-jawed, where Miami comes up with a near interception. And the public address announcer's like, whoa, that's a close one. What are we doing? It was so corny. And the music.
Get Josh Appel out there.
I'm not going at DJ Volume. DJ Volume, you said your piece. I'm going to go ahead and respect that. And from what I understand, there is so much validity to what you're saying. You don't play all the music in this stadium. There is a whole game production that plays the majority of music there, and you have your isolated windows. This is not a DJ Volume thing. This is bigger than DJ Volume. The biggest third down in that game, and you play conga. What do we do? Like, it's honestly, for a head coach that says we need to make this place an asylum, for a home field advantage that everybody would concede was special against Florida, special against Notre Dame, the way that the canopy lays out, like it is primed to actually amplify the noise that is there when we're not selling out that building often. You're playing conga? What about an asylum? Does conga reflect? I don't get what they're doing.
The loss definitely turned into an asylum. A lot of people lost their minds. I'll tell you that much.
But like we talked about this in the group chat, and somebody who will remain nameless was like, does Mario need to get involved until the game ops? What are we doing? It's affecting the game. The crowd was not as loud as it could have been because you played conga. What are we doing?
You know, I actually thought of Joel Warren, who said in the morning of the show that he was getting ready to put some Lomelo's Wagyu on the grill, and I legitimately thought, man, I hope his experience with the steak was not messed up by the performance of the team. And he says he was hyped after eating the A5 Wagyu, and then all of a sudden he sees the half-empty stadium, and he did not like the vibe.
No, it was a bad vibe, and you got to recognize that. And DJ 101, what do I got to do to get these people into it?
Can I make a confession? And this is 100% truth, honesty. I like to be honest. Here is a place of honesty, a tree of trust.
Not be too honest now.
Oh man, the watchdog. So
Pete, give us a break here.
14 up. This was later in the game. So this is when Isaac Brown fumbled. We got the ball back.
So many fans left before that fumble too.
Oh, it was about to be like
it was revolting. I was literally telling people as they were walking by me, "What are you doing
on a Friday night? It's ridiculous.
What are you doing?
It's not a Tuesday night. I don't leave anyways. But what are you trying to beat the traffic for? What do you got waiting at home?
We've done this before. Like the team did its job. Fans got to meet them there. Bad job by the fans.
Bad job. No, you can't say it enough. It was not a good performance by the fans. Will get mad when I say it because they think you're absolving the team. Mm-hmm. Independent things. So I'll do our job and go 1-0 this week against Stanford. But so Isaac Brown fumbles, we score, and then I believe we had a stop right after. I think that was when OJ Frederick almost got the pick.
Mm-hmm. That was a close one.
There was a TV timeout. I looked at the DJ and I said, I hope he plays Sweet Caroline right now. It didn't happen.
That's the only time one of those corny songs has worked.
It would have been
season, Sweet Caroline.
It would have dropped like a bomb, like a peppermint bomb in that stadium. People would have been going crazy, having fun. The vibes would have been impeccable. It would have been like we already won the game. That moment right there, I think, was a missed opportunity for Sweet Caroline. I didn't think I'd say that, but I felt it.
It's about the Jimmies and the Joes, right? That Miami lost the game because they got out coached. They did not execute. Louisville's guys made plays. Miami's guys didn't make plays. But that is often the case. We've seen plenty of comebacks. Hell, we've seen plenty of comebacks within this rivalry alone. Shout out to Brock Berlin and the OB about 25 years ago. Like we've seen it. Atmospheres can make up for rough starts. You got to help your team out a little bit more. And I hopefully, because I have heard people say this, it's not just me screaming in an alley, talking to myself. Like, what are we doing? Hopefully they answer the bell, because you got to have an atmosphere at these games. More importantly, you can't hurt the atmosphere. You can't be viewed as a negative to the atmosphere. And I think far too often we're looking around like, what are they really playing this? How am I'm dying to get into this game. And they're not giving me the opportunity to get in the game because they're playing Black Eyed Peas or Party in the USA. It's just, it's not a good scene. It's bad. The bigger issue was we didn't know what to do with cut blocks. They made incredible plays on these interceptions. Carson Beck not taking the proper reads. Like there were, and for me, and we've been sounding this alarm while we were winning, so it's not just an overreaction. You could accuse me of overreacting to everything, to JoJo, to game ups. Here's the thing that matters, because it is the consistent message that I've had since week 1 against Notre Dame, where we failed to get a first down on a couple straight drives and let Notre Dame get back into that game. I don't mind running the ball. I really don't. You may think it's conservative. I don't mind running the ball. I mind the conservative nature of these runs. I mind these teams are stacking the box because they know you're going to run a gap and you're not doing anything about it. Look, when we ran a sweep with Malachi, it resulted in a touchdown. Don't be discouraged because one time you try an outside run and it results in a 3-yard loss. The risk is worth the reward. All right. I'd rather take the occasional toss to the outside, an off tackle, a sweep to a wide receiver. I'd rather take a loss on that than just repeatedly getting 2 yards on first down, only to have Samson false start and get me back to a long passing situation in second down, which is another thing that has gotten worse as the season's progressed. The team's discipline on these procedurals. It's maddening.
Notre Dame
to
was
me.
clean.
We needed to play a clean game against Notre Dame to win that game. We know what our ceiling is when we play clean. It's national championship good. And when we don't play a clean game, we can lose a game as a 13.5-point favorite.
Son of the Beach says Conga was played for the boosters. I can't tell if that is a vaguely ethnic comment or an age comment. Conga, I don't know anyone who likes that song.
There wasn't a single person in that stadium that was like, yes, Conga.
What song
defense?
What song would you play for the boosters? What are they like? They're probably like, I don't know. Who would be like a Juan Luis Guerra kind of deal?
The boost. Don't worry about the boosters. The guys in the leather seats are rarely contributing to the atmosphere.
Billy Rubina? I think that would hit with the boosters.
It's like me and Mr. Chi in the leather seats. We're the only ones yelling. Okay, like there ain't many of us.
Shout out to Mr. Chi.
But it's recent happy birthday, belated.
Happy birthday.
But it's about everybody else in the stands. And like I said, atmospheres matter, especially in college football. And I'm not telling you, like, this doesn't need to be Death Valley at LSU. You just don't have to get in the way. And I feel like you're getting in the way. You're Mo Torre. You're Chase Smith on OJ Frederick on a crossing route early in the game. You're getting in the way of an atmosphere.
Can I say something here? So Champy, a.k.a. Filete. Oh, wait. There's the watchdog. Watchdog's looking out for Filete.
Scared every time you say, can I say something? I get scared. Just want to remind you guys.
I got to check and see how this is going with him.
Oh, the group chat. We got to check the group chat. So Filete is here in the comments, and he's saying that DJ Volume didn't play Sweet Carolina. We lost. He's all over the place. We need to sit down with him. We need to sit down with you, Filete, because you had a birthday party for your beautiful daughters, or a Halloween party. Great event. Shout out to Chanel for organizing everything. But then your job, your only job, I imagine, is to make sure that the TVs are lined up so the gentlemen in the party, the dads, can watch college football. Tremendous slate. Get there. I'm with Mr. Perfect, Javi Salas, and others. You're dressed like some sort of pimp vampire, like a purple. I couldn't figure out exactly the theme of your particular costume, Filete. And then we sit down to watch the games, and there's no TVs. And the entertainment for the grown-ups is a guy dressed in a Spider-Man costume climbing the roof doing backflips for everybody.
Ooh, this is bad.
And really meanwhile, bad. Alabama's in a thriller, right? There's the Texas Tech game is cooking. I'm getting texts from my wife. She's watching the game with my kids. I don't know what's going on because I'm looking at Spider-Man doing cartwheels. And it just was not a complete affair. And I think your portion as the dad was missing. So if you let that, we need to sit down with you and DJ Volume to get the atmosphere right. Quite frankly, DJ Volume might have brought more entertainment for the grown-ups, the grown-up men, than what we're getting at the party. If you let this, so let's all do our jobs this week. How about that?
We're trying to go 1-0. By the way, Scoopage, we got no idea what uniforms Miami is going to wear this weekend.
Yeah.
There's they might wear the military uniforms, they might not. Just like one season, they were supposed to wear black uniforms, and we decided not to. We'll see.
Contracts are meant to be broken.
Yeah, so we'll see. I can guarantee you there'll be military appreciation. There'll be some camo representation, whether it's on the guys playing the football game. We'll see. I have been told. You can think what you want about the cookie cutter nature of these camo uniforms and how they may look like other programs there. But I've been told what really makes this uniform set pop are the accessories, the helmets, and all the additional things. If they do indeed decide to wear them, they may not. It wouldn't be the first time. Like I said, there is precedent for Miami to decide, even though this is slated to be among the things that we're supposed to wear this season, we're going to go in a different direction.
All right, so what we got here? Some comments. Let's see. There's one I wanted to get to here. Got a lot of comments on the camo.
I mean, I got a lot that I'm cooking on. Let's talk about the quarterback. Let's talk about Carson Beck, because.
Well, hold on. We have a paid comment here.
Okay, let's get to that. We always
thank you.
Front of the line.
818 Cali. Thank you. This is what I was looking for. He said, "Tough question here. Appreciate your support as always. After 4 years of seeing Dawson's offense, is his offensive scheme a championship level type offense?" I mean, we were the best offense in the country last year by a country mile. So
Yes.
Now look, Cam Ward obviously had a lot to do with it, but Cam Ward also wasn't Cam Ward before he got here. So
I wrote out a big thing on my Discord today about this whole, because it's kind of annoying me now with the Ward discussion here, because I'm just gonna pull up my message because I actually kind of sat down and thought it through a little bit. But essentially and I've alluded to this before. I think the narrative is pretty funny when it comes to Ward and his time in Miami. No one wants to give Mario and Dawson credit. I understand. But what I don't agree with is that Ward had more success at Miami than anywhere he had been, was more efficient than anywhere he had been. He had the least amount of turnovers, least amount of fumbles. Who gave him the tools to succeed? Why is he struggling with the Titans now? Why is he back to the fumble issues that plagued him at Washington State? Seems like Miami was an outlier in this whole thing of his career in terms of protecting the football and getting him to become the first pick. He was an late round to undrafted free agent before coming to Miami. That's why he came back to school. So what changed in the year? He's a phenomenal talent, but there's an outlier there. Sorry, it doesn't make any sense to me that we're going to ignore the 1 year that was an outlier in that respect. I'm sorry. Who got the tools there? Who gave him? And by the way, none of Miami's receivers last year were drafted. He had 2 draft picks at Washington State. What are we talking about here? I'm not saying that this is the most phenomenal offensive system in the world, but can we take a step back and give these guys a little bit of credit for what went on here and compare it to the rest of his career? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's great stuff all around. I think it's a championship level offense, and I think Shannon Dawson there was one thing. Did he say the running game? It is what it is. I think that just might be a verbal crutch where he doesn't want to give too much away. But there seemed to be contrition from Shannon Dawson, an acknowledgement that he didn't call the greatest game.
Yeah,
he didn't.
They know they should have won.
They should have won. Even though statistically, when you look at the turnover margin, they didn't have really an argument to win that game, other than Louisville didn't really do much with the turnovers.
They should have won going into the game, but they did things that caused them to lose.
Also, 2 of the picks I would describe as healthy interceptions in a game of real estate acquisition. You like him taking the chances. Now I don't like him doing he was committed no matter what. On the second interception, he's my move is I'm going to pump fake. I'm not even going to care if I get anybody on the pump fake. I'm going to pump fake and go. And the guy wasn't open. And you'd like to see the receiver maybe do a little bit more in that situation. If anything, just knock the ball down and play defensive back. But Louisville corner made a play, just like Cormani McLean made a play. A bunch of Louisville guys made plays there. There were really exceptional interceptions there. But the only thing that I can get on Shannon Dawson right now is the run game needs to not be as conservative. You're predictable. You said this. You acknowledged after FSU. You knew that they were going to take the run game away or at least commit themselves to stopping the run game. Okay, but if you're in a game situation where you're down 14-0, you become predictable in that They know you have to throw. So if you're trying to mix it up, if you're trying to run play action, just let's have some different looks in the run game. And if I'm a guy like Jordan Lyle, I hate to say it, I'm probably thinking, what am I doing here? Like, let's use me. Let's use my skill set. Because Jordan Lyle, unlike other there's some younger backs in that room that can also bring what he brings to the table. But out of the main three guys in our rotation, he has a dynamic about him that Mark Fletcher and Marty Brown don't have, which is he can bounce it to the outside. He can get to that second level. He can pull away from guys. He can make a guy miss in the backfield. And he's also pretty strong. Like, he can do, like, he's a more balanced player. He's good in pass pro. He's good in the receiving game. I would like to make better use of his talents. I think just running Jordan Lyle exclusively up the A gap, and I know he's had injuries to deal with, and that may be why he hasn't been able to get into a rhythm, but I'd like to use him the way that I saw him used in camp, which is this guy can bounce it outside, because this is what Miami needs. A little bit more variation in the running game.
Yeah, I think the comment here was right on. Trying to enhance, Josh saying you got to enhance the running game. There's things you could do off the way people are playing. But to Shannon Dawson's comment about it is what it is, I think there was some truth to it, which is teams run the way they run, right? How many times have you seen a game where you're like, all right, this team runs out. This is an outside zone team. You know, we are a duo between the tackles team. Some teams are outside zone. Louisville, right? Scott Satterfield, so many times when he was at Louisville, now where's he at now? Cincinnati. You hear this, it's the same thing. Like, guys just have their sort of systems they run. You're not a shapeshifter when it comes to the running game. That's more about timing, execution, of course, your players and your commitment to it. So I don't expect us to do a total change, but some variation, I think, will happen.
More. I understand. Like, our identity is A gap. I get it. Everybody gets it. We also have a very talented line. We have tackles that have NFL prospects, some very high NFL prospects. Let's use that advantage.
I have a question, and D, you may be able to answer this better than me, and maybe you may not be able to answer it either. We talk about the tight splits and what it does. This I probably should have asked Amon this either. We talk about the tight splits, right? And we understand a lot of it is to neutralize tackles for loss, right, and stay ahead of the chains, which that's getting messed up because of the penalties right now. But it seems a bit counterintuitive to me, and one reason is, like, if you have such a talented line, wouldn't you trust them?
It's fair.
Well, it's to have a bit wider splits. I mean, I understand it's a philosophy, but like, I mean, as someone who, again, has an elementary understanding of how it works, like, it would make a little bit more sense to me if you have guys that, it's kind of like when you have corners we talked about last week. Why are you playing them so far off the line of scrimmage if you don't? I mean, that has to signal you don't trust them.
Well, let's say you're playing a Manny Diaz type defense, right? Which Manny Diaz defense is the opposite of what we do. So Manny Diaz defensive philosophy is the tackles for loss, plays behind the line of scrimmage, kill drives, and therefore his defense is built to do that. The last team he wants to play is us, because we'll just pound it down the throat. I mean, you saw Duke last year where they put a 52. So the reason he wants to get behind the line of scrimmage is the same reason you want to avoid that. It's not just like, I understand what you're saying, Pete. I've heard this too before. It was just like, are you just trusting don't you trust your offensive lineman to not get beat? But it's not just getting beat. There's blitzes. There's things that could happen where when you have gaps exposed or crevices exposed, you could do everything right on the offensive line and they still get through just because of the way it's called. So I think that's a little bit more of what it is. And also because you not everybody can run this type of running game and get any yards. We were top 5 in the nation last year in yards per carry. The Mario's been that highly ranked running game for a while. To do that with these kind of splits and running between the tackles, you need monsters, because that's like, it allows you to just move guys off the ball, like, and just use brute force. Whereas, like, if you didn't have those guys, you couldn't even run this type of offense. So that, to me, I think is more how the personnel goes with it. But look, just because they do it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do or that it's like guaranteed to work. I think in this particular case, the more I watch the film and talk to people, our passing game's got to be better, because teams are clearly saying we're more worried, regardless of the inside run, outside run, teams are saying we are worried about your running game. We're going to take away your running game. Not like, hey, you're running the same running play every time. We could beat it with base defense and we're not worried about it. It's you guys are going to push us around if we don't devote numbers, and therefore the passing game has to beat us. It beat them against Notre Dame. Got to win the rest of this season, because I think that's going to be a formula you see repeated.
I'm not asking for an overhaul. I'm really not. I'm asking for like 4 more a game. First off, that's really what I'm talking about. And I think you're set up for big success because the defense is selling out for those A-gap runs, because I understand what our identity is. And I also understand that our running game in the A-gap is probably not this big of a concern if we don't have the procedural penalties. But when you're not playing your best game, when you need big plays to get you back into that, look, I have proof of concept, folks. They ran a sweep for a touchdown. They did something creative in the running game, and it got a big play, and it helped Miami get back into that game. So what I'm saying is, let's do it a little bit more. I'm not saying like put Malachi Tony in the Wildcat, though that seems like it has promise.
Yep.
I'm just saying, like, let's put certain players that we know to be good, like Jordan Lyle. We know him to be good. Put him in positions where he can flash some of the things that separate him from Mark Fletcher. Not necessarily make him better, but just make him a different option for this team, because you're going to go up against some pretty complete teams. You know, Matt Patricia's shown that he's a really smart defensive coordinator. You're hoping for the day that this ends with a Miami-Ohio State showdown, right? He's pretty smart about what he does. You want to give him different things to prepare for. And if you're just married to 95% of our runs are going to be A-gap runs, you're not helping your team out, and you're not getting the most of what is, I think, a really talented running back room.
Detective Holmes saying the issue is that the O-line was touted as some generational O-line. They aren't. They're okay, good at times, and undisciplined. I don't know about generational. I think they're elite. In terms of this year, I would say they're either 1 or 2. You say Texas A&M or them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think the running game is much more about penalties, getting behind the sticks, not having that many plays. We only ran it 18 times. If you want to say play calling, you can say play calling. As far as like the inside-outside debate, you could talk about the fact that they just knew we were going to run, or they knew they had to take away the run, and they just beat us with numbers. But this wasn't like our offensive line was just getting blown off the ball one-on-one. That was not happening.
Better defense.
Go watch the film and you'll see it's not happening, and then no one's rushing the passer. That guy's all day.
Louisville had a better defense than probably many people gave him credit for.
100%.
Their DBs made good plays. It's a little bit different. It's not Shannon Dawson smirking like your guys can't cover. These guys can cover. These guys can make plays on the ball. To the point that the passing game has to be better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
4 picks is 4 picks. And quite frankly, his worst pick was one that we got away with because it was a really ticky-tack roughing the passer penalty. Like if Miami ended up sealing that game, lucky. I would hang my head low and concede. Like we got lucky there because that was a game-changing penalty potentially that went Miami's way. It was bogus. It shouldn't have happened. Carson Beck, this is a big moment for the young man. We've talked to people around his camp. He's done interviews and said this offseason he matured a lot. The guy that we saw on Friday, what did Georgia tell us about? Turns the ball over, isn't a great locker room guy. Well, he turned the ball over plenty, and then what he said in front of the microphone wasn't the best look. And you got to wonder how that plays in the locker room. Now, it's my understanding things have been ironed out there. The players are being leaders. He is rising to the occasion. Show us you're different. Show us your growth. Impress people with how well you are able to shake that off. I'm not even talking about the arm talent. Yeah, maybe don't just pump fake for the sake of pump faking because you're going to throw it deep no matter what. I would love it if you took the first down that was available to you occasionally. That stuff will get covered in film. What I'm talking about is intangible leadership skills. You're a different type of leader. There were no complaints about his leadership style once he got to Miami. The players on this team like him.
Yep.
This is a moment for him to step up. He's older now. He's more mature. Show us. Pete, you have anything there? Because I think it's a big Carson Beck week. Honestly, he needs to bounce back in a big way.
Yeah, I think he unfortunately erased, what he had built up, the good faith that he had built up in the first few weeks there. Even though it wasn't perfect and we could nitpick, there was enough positive to look at that made him the favorite to be the Heisman Trophy winner. Right? It's crazy how quickly things could change there. But yeah, this is his moment here that I think could shape what ends up happening with his draft status, because if it goes the direction we don't want it to go, then I think everything that was questioned before can be somewhat validated in a sense. And if not, then I mean, I hate to put it like that, but that's kind of where we're at,
Yeah,
right?
you guys scared me because we have seen promising quarterbacks that had good performances in this school, one that got us excited, just have the bottom totally fall out. You guys invoked Tyler Van Dyke, which was scary. Ja'Cory Harris, Jaron Williams, that happened very quickly. I mean, you're talking about a guy that had what 6-7 touchdown passes in a game, and then and then all of a sudden he's losing to FIU, never to be heard from again, despite outplaying Trevor Lawrence in the Manning Passing Academy, a famous piece of D-Money lore.
It happened. What can I tell you? It doesn't mean it doesn't change anything else.
No,
but
you
was
guys,
like his Al Bundy moment.
But you guys did scare me. And look, Carson Beck has only been here for a couple of months.
D, I think there's a comment here that you'll.
I made the bet this morning because we had a morning show here. EJ saying, "What's the wager? DCC in the first round?" Yeah, so I do think CC will be a first round pick.
Too. I've always said I think that the thing that's going to devalue him is because there's going to be a lot of teams that aren't going to see him as a tackle. D, they're going to see him as a guard.
Right.
But I think he'll be
He'll still be first
round pick.
Yeah.
He's maybe not a top 10 pick, which I've always said I don't think that was necessarily where he was at that point. But I think mid to late round picks, first round picks still.
I want to answer one of these questions that is coming from
Leonard Taylor. Was not projected to go in the first round. That was mock drafts. He was not projected to go in the first round at this point. No.
I want to address this question from Rocco. It's an interesting question. What player has developed this year from last year? Let's keep it to guys that were on the roster last year, because I could say CJ Daniels has improved year over year, but I don't know how much that is him and Miami's development. That's a complicated discussion.
Just being healthy.
So let's talk about guys that are on this roster that have improved, because the way you're positioning the stat, either you're genuinely curious or you want to use this as a shot at Miami. While there are guys like Elijah Lofton that on the field, they haven't taken that next step. In some cases, you could probably argue to have taken a step back. I would venture to say that a lot of guys have taken a step forward. Plenty of players on the offensive line. Markel Bell is a guy that is climbing into potentially, like, I know he has a decision to make here, but he's developed year over year with Miami. He put up outstanding tape against Florida. Mauanoa hasn't done anything to lose the grade that he had there. I think Inez Cooper has taken a step back. I think Mark Fletcher has taken a step forward. On the defensive side of the ball, pretty damn near everybody.
Ruben Bain.
Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor,
Wesley Basainth.
Wesley Basainth has gotten better. Like, again, taking the transfer portal guys out of it, because that's OJ Frederic is better this year.
Yep.
I think a lot of players have developed.
I would put in that.
Moten has been, good. And he's dealing with the shoulder thing right now, but he's playing through that. We've had the guys develop here on this roster.
Samson Okunlola is a great one.
He's on my bad side. That was a bad penalty.
Popo Aguirre.
That was a really ill-timed penalty from Pancake.
Yeah, and I will say, for all the defending I was doing the offensive line, people in the comments were right. The penalty part has to get cleaned up, and they have been probably the worst offenders, I would say, consistently. So that is fair.
You have to, a little context, though. When the PA is playing conga, it is really hard to hear in there.
By the way, it is a Beck week. That's why I'm rocking the Beck Odelay shirt right now. I think it's a Beck week. I think it's a Beck season. This is the time where we needed to deal with adversity, respond, and take us to the ACC championship or to the playoff, whichever one we need to get through. But that's why I am wearing that Beck Odelay shirt made by my boy Andrew with Miami Heat Subculture. And I got to shout him out because Axios, which apparently is a big publication.
It is.
Right here, designer Viral Butler shirt blends Heat stars, Miami icons. So he does a bunch of Heat stuff. We know we wear these on the show. But he's doing some Canes logos as well, taking like the Miami Subs grill right here, turning that into something new, taking old Miami designs. There you got the mutiny for our guy, Jaime Jaquez, who's in for a big bounce back year, big bounce back year. Then, of course, there we go. And they got the Carson Beck Odelay shirt, which I am rocking in honor of Beck. I think Beck is going to have an unbelievable response this week, and he's going to finish strong. And Heisman first round, all I know is he's going to win a lot of games for the Miami Hurricanes and get us back to where we need to be. So I believe in Beck. That's why I'm wearing the shirt.
I always maintain I like Carson Beck as a pro prospect. I think he does a lot of things that translate very well to the pro game, and that's not an easy transition. Carson Beck isn't the quarterback that Cam Ward is from talent, all right? But he does things differently that might apply. Look, Cam Ward's showing you right now his skill set when he doesn't have other things going perfectly for him, it's a bit of a struggle.
Going perfectly is an understatement. He doesn't have things going
All right.
competently.
All right.
He
I
doesn't
understand.
have things going functionally.
Okay. The guy literally dropped the ball with no pressure twice.
Yeah, the small hands. We said it.
Yeah. Like,
We had the hand scouting report. My scouting report on Cam Ward, I had the positive list, and it was like, all the way down the line. It was like the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
And then on the negative, small hands.
I mean, I don't think maybe it's happened, but 2 consecutive weeks just dropping the ball with nothing going on. That's tough. But where Cam, it really succeeds, where Carson Beck is thought of to be deficient, comes to those leadership skills. And that's part of being a pro. You better be Aaron Rodgers if you're going to have a weird energy at that position.
94 Canes alum points out the obvious. If you saw the thumbnail, this is good. He says, while no loss is good. I think
Nick
this one is a good wake-up call for our team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shake it off and focus forward.
I love it.
Smile on him right now. Look at the smile on him. He's so happy now.
Big dog.
That's him. That's his
I
burner.
worship at the altar of Nick Saban takes on College Game Day.
He said the same thing as our boy 94.
He was arguing that this is a good thing for Miami, and we've told you before how we've mentioned that only 2 of his 7 national titles were undefeated seasons. What teams do to respond to adversity, they can grow from this. Miami can be better. And look, if you want to play a numbers game, I've been maintaining all year, even when it was hard to maintain it. Even as the odds suggested, Miami was better positioned than any other team in the nation to go undefeated. There was a loss in this team. There's a loss in every team in the nation. There is not a team that's going undefeated. It would be stunning if there is a team that goes undefeated. And you guys want to talk about like what's happening in the locker room. Why isn't this guy playing? Look at this tile on social media that this guy posted. It wasn't but a couple of months ago that Ohio State lost as a 23-point favorite to Michigan. And that was a bad scene. Everybody was calling for the head coach to be fired.
They didn't have a quarterback, Michigan. They were just running the ball.
Players were doing the social media stuff. People were worried about the transfer portal. People were already wondering which NFL head coach, Mike Vrabel, to the Buckeyes. That was bad, and they end up winning the national title a couple games later. Teams can grow from this kind of adversity.
I will say this. I've never seen a team where wide receivers are not complaining about getting the ball. Kids, Little League Baseball, which is where I spend most of my time these days. Everybody wants to be the shortstop. There's always going to be these kind of things. You have national podcasts where people complain about playing time.
Yep. Happening right now.
So
why wasn't my answer in the clip? You get that. It's part of it, and it's managing a locker room. And sometimes you eat it. Sometimes you see something there, and sometimes you talk to somebody directly about it. I think Mario Cristobal is handling this loss differently than he's handled any of the other losses. And I think that's because he knows he has a good team. And yes, while noise from a young wide receiver can...
Multiple young wide receivers.
Or 2 or 3. Yes, while that can be bad, what D-Money is saying is not inaccurate. Young wide receivers want to play. That's the position. Some of these guys have shown this season that they can help. I get it. That's not a bad problem.
There you go, Pete. You're bringing balance.
I'm looking at this comment.
That is not true. I definitely do not yell at the kids. I am totally serene at the Little League games. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I yelled at the umpire once because it was a strikeout and they missed they didn't call a strike a ball. My son was pitching and they actually lost track of the strikes. So he had to pitch 4 strikes for a strikeout. And it's about fouls, it's about strikes over the plate. So that's the one time I can say that I got upset. Actually, probably number 2. There was in Little League Baseball, there's a clock. And we were playing a team that was up and they were trying to run out the clock. And the kids, clearly by being coached to do this, were tying their shoes. Every single kid that went to the plate was tying their shoes just to run out the clock in Little League. They were being coached to do this.
Who was coaching them? Butch Davis? Remember that? Jaron Williams game, all those faked injuries.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. USF ran that play against us.
Mm-hmm.
Galesh, the fake injury, the fake play. So, that was one time I did get heated. You're not even teaching them to cheat right. If you're teaching the little kids to use steroids, if you're teaching the little kids to spit on the ball, at least that's functional cheating. running out the clock. You're not even teaching them how to cheat. Just total gamesmanship, disgusting behavior. We did win that game ultimately, but disgusting.
All right. So is the Louisville performance behind us now? I think we know. I think Miami needs to prepare for seeing way more cut blocks. And I think in game, Heatherman showed that he can adjust there. I was happy with how the defense responded to being down 14-0. Chris Bell's like, welcome to the Drake May All-Stars. Like, you're a dog. Your name goes up there with like Carter, Javonte Williams,
Eric Ebron,
Dalvin Cook.
Jalen Ramsey, Chris Long. Like, you are a Drake May All-Star, my friend.
Anyone with a pulse that played Miami's defense last year.
Yeah. Anybody that ran a sweep against Miami last year. Haynes King is one of the Drake May All-Stars.
Tom Gore.
But I think Miami can learn from this, grow stronger from this. I think that's the anticipation. Guys, we kept saying it looks a certain way. That has to be true with this team. That has to be true. Like, the culture is different. There's like 2 kids on the team right now that you're like worried about, like their focus on the bigger things, on the mission at hand. I think these players are self-governing. I think the culture is right. And you have Palo Alto penicillin on the way.
Palo Alto, man, you are a wordsmith lately. Josh Smith living his life in truth, or grounded in truth, I should say. Palo Alto penicillin. That sounds like some like Silicon Valley type drugs, like some synthetic deal. Palo Alto penicillin. Malp the G says Miami needed this. 4 turnovers, the absolute floor for us. Corners worry me, but honestly, I believe the old Canes are gone. I'm actually not that personally. The corners would be there's a lot that worries me about this game. The passing game not getting going, the running game kind of getting stuck in the mud, even though I think that was schematic, the penalties. But the corners actually think we're fine. I think it was more tackling in the second. You got to swarm. It wasn't like the guy was just beating OJ Frederick one-on-one nonstop. And he's a great player.
And you mentioned that could be Russ too. It was weird, but like both teams dealt with a bye. Louisville didn't seem like they had problems tackling our guys. They just have to be better. But I do think that that's a floor. You mentioned something, I want to say like 2 years ago. When your O-line is right, when you're right in the trenches, you're not going to get blown out. So Miami played a piss poor game, and they had an opportunity to tie that with a field goal, and an unbelievable play was made. And if you listen to Carson Beck, somebody ran the wrong route. But Miami's not getting blown out. In fact, like Louisville, they're one of a handful of schools over the last 2 years that hasn't lost a game by more than 1 score, which is impressive by Louisville as well. But
we're that too. We're the same boat.
Yeah, that's the point that I was getting at. Like, you're absolutely right when you say that's Miami's floor. We know what their ceiling is. Their ceiling is best team in the nation. Play with anybody. Now, I don't think Stanford's a kind of opponent that if you throw 4 interceptions, is going to be in position to win the game. I prefer not to test that theory out. But SMU is a trickier game now, right? We're a little bit more worried about that one. We've always been worried about Pitt.
We're a live target, man. NC State, Syracuse, you name it.
Did you see Fran Brown's quote on Brent Key? That was interesting. What's going on over there?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's directed at the conference as a whole, man. I don't know.
We're gonna like in this game. We're gonna find out who a real coach is. This is where real coach is. Where we find out who's a real coach.
I'm still stuck on Palo Alto penicillin. It reminds me of that Colorado Kool-Aid. You ever heard about that Colorado Kool-Aid? There's a Colorado Kool-Aid right there. There's Johnny Paycheck.
Wow.
The nice can of Coors. Colorado Kool-Aid.
You know what they're calling the Colorado Kool-Aid these days?
What's that? Let's go.
BUZZN.
Let's go, man. Pete is on it right now, baby.
Thank you, Pete.
Bring over some Colorado. Well, this is some Coral Gables Kool-Aid, which I've been serving you every single day on the CanesInSight Daily Podcast. Some nice Coral Gables Kool-Aid. Boom. There it is, baby. BUZZN. Drink BUZZN.com with some cool buzzing right there.
Strawberry.
The little Coral Gables Kool-Aid.
7.5 milligrams real THC.
Yeah, man, this will get the job done. Crack a can. I'm telling you, man, every single thing these guys said is a slogan. It was like Stone Cold after he defeated Jake the Snake, and every line was a line. Look at this, man. Wake without ache, all hang, no hangover, all bubbles, no troubles. I mean, these guys were on one when they started buzzing, because every slogan gets it done. drinkbuzzn.com, or check it out at Big Daddy's Liquors. I'm going to call it the Coral Gables Kool-Aid because we're serving it up. We are going to win the rest of our games. This was a wake-up call. This is the loss that we needed. Bring Gorby back up because he's going to love all this. Get Gorby out here.
Gorby does not want to be around.
Get the watchdog up here so you can hear this. We're going to win the rest of our games. We're going to have a lot of anxious Canes fans that have seen this story before. They're going to be the cynical ones in the chat, always being negative about every last thing. And they're going to be defeated this year by what's going on? What's this?
I'm touching the Persian pit bull.
The Persian pit bull. All those bad vibes are gone. We got the buzzing. We're cracking a can. All bubbles, no troubles. The bad vibes are gone. All that anxiety you guys are going to feel the second half of the season. This is when we always blow when that calendar.
the Iranian watchdog. That's what I was going to call it. Cam Jong-un.
The best SID in the business. The man's a machine. And that's not just me saying that. That's Pat McAfee saying that, folks. Guy is really terrific at his job. He's a weapon.
Martin says, BUZZN made me watch that FSU game pretty calmly. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Can I, Ralphie? Yes.
What a picture, by the way.
Let's go.
Is that a library?
That is a great, that's AI.
You got the comb over in the library?
Belen or Columbus?
Yeah.
Oh, that's at Columbus. I was going to say, I should take a picture of the library. It looks so legit.
Was this the 90s? That looks like a 90s photo.
This guy's like 50 now.
Yeah. You take that at Sears? Ralphie, let me know if you took that at Sears. Let's talk about Napier and Mike Norvell. You guys have talked about it. I've shared my thoughts on the show. We both, look, it's not a secret who the top candidates are in football. Like, I could say Marcus Freeman and Lane Kiffin are the top candidates in Florida. A lot of people know that. That doesn't mean that they're going to steal these coaches away. Fan bases take things way too personal when you say, you should be flattered. I don't, Notre Dame's weird, but I understand. They have the PTSD of Brian Kelly leaving that job. The same way Oregon fans were weird about Mario leaving because it's an insult to a program that has been doing sustainable winning, that has been figuring into the national championship conversation, for a coach to leave them for a school that is not competing for a national championship in that moment, that is trying to look for answers in a new head coach. I get it. I've been there. Why didn't he choose me? I've been there. I get it. But let's relax. It's a compliment that people want Marcus Freeman. It means Marcus Freeman has been doing a good job. If Florida were to get Marcus Freeman, that's a home run hire. If Florida is to get Lane Kiffin, I have a few more questions about it, but I think it's a home run hire. One thing is for sure, Florida is committed to finding a home run hire. And whether or not they get those two guys, they're still going to drop a bag. They've been preparing for this day for years. And while they have some misses on the NIL front, while they have some high profile instances where their NIL collective leadership looked bonkers on social media,
that was not all bubbles, no troubles. That was not all hang, no hangover. I'll tell you that.
They win recruiting battles against Miami Pete. Like they don't have a bad collective. They have
Pretty
a good collective.
last year.
No, they have a bad collective.
They don't have a bad collective. We have the best collective in the nation. That doesn't mean other collectives are bad. We have the best collective in the nation, and as the best collective in the nation, we can concede that we've lost some recruiting battles to Florida. We have.
Listen, it's not all NIL related.
No, it's not. No, and Billy Napier had an appeal to whatever. I'm not getting into that, but I'm more interested in what's happening in Florida State, because I think Florida State can operate within the margins. They don't have to reset the coaching salary structure at Florida State. I think a guy like James Franklin would make a ton of sense over there.
Yeah, too much sense.
I would be worried about that. If Florida State were to hire James Franklin, this is a take and sounds crazy, and I hope you back me up on it. I'd be more worried about that than Florida getting Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah. Well, hold on.
When it comes to the battles, when it comes to the recruiting battles.
Let's talk about that, because it's considered a take, and I don't know why. James Franklin, first of all, won 9 games twice at Vanderbilt. So all this crazy stuff you're seeing at Vanderbilt, he had done similar things back to back. Beyond that, James Franklin went to a program that was a pedophilia factory. It was the worst scandal you could have ever in the history of scandals. There's nothing. We had Benihana's. Think about what they had. Google their name. Okay, so that's what they had. He took over there, and he has been top 5 out of the last 10 years, double-digit wins every single year. and he has made a playoff and gotten to a Final Four as he showed last year. Kiffin has done none of these things. Kiffin had the second best roster next to Ohio State in the country last year and did not make the playoff. His failure last year was even worse than ours because he had a full team. He had NFL guys all over that defense.
He lost at the Swamp. We didn't.
Jackson Dart is playing better than Cam right now. So, I mean, again, I think Cam is better than Dart.
A lot of people are.
So I'm saying like that, like
Beat a lot of
that
people
team
are.
was loaded and he didn't even make the playoff. So
Mrs. Mario and
So-
Dawson.
I don't understand the idea that Lane is some hotshot candidate and James Franklin's bottom of the barrel. I'm taking James Franklin over Lane. By the way, James Franklin's not on videos talking about his addiction, right? I mean, salute to him for being sober. I mean, I quit drinking. I respect it all, but you don't have any of those red flags with Franklin that I'm aware of. So to me, that's a no-brainer. Not just it's not a hot take. It's a no-brainer that you take Franklin over Kiffin. I don't understand the argument against it other than this guy was once name dropped in a Lil Wayne song that was a fantastic song on a great mixtape. Other than that, what does Lane Kiffin have over James Franklin? Zero. And if you tell me I'm wrong, why? What does Lane Kiffin have over him besides tweets? One thing.
Well, let's separate Lane because Lane is loaded. I'll give you that. Although I think Lane, for all the deficiencies on the recruiting trail and all the possible red flags about his past, like he's still a brilliant football mind.
No,
you give him Billy Napier's roster right now. They're a hell of a lot better, I think. I think it's true.
I mean, it's hard to be worse. They stink, but he had the second best roster in the country last year and didn't make the playoffs.
I get you, but I think he raises the floor there schematically.
Yep. I agree.
What would happen if Marcus Freeman were to go? The way that I understand it, Marcus Freeman is not like a Lane Kiffin type. He's honestly an outlier when it comes to head coaches, which is he's kind of a good guy. You know, like he genuinely doesn't want these discussions around his program when they're in a season fighting for a CFP. When the Chicago Bears were interested in Marcus Freeman last year, he basically missed his window because he kept winning and he kept it away from the team and from an honest to God discussion, outside of just, hey, would he be interested in? But if Marcus Freeman went to Florida, what do you think happens there from a recruiting standpoint, from a recruiting battle? Because Miami and Notre Dame, they don't go on a lot of head-to-head recruiting battles. You know, there'll be top-line guys that pick the programs with prestige. Marcus Freeman likes to coach guys up. No, certainly when it comes to the secondary, he has a proud tradition of developing guys over there. What would be the recruiting battles that Miami would be getting in if they decided if Marcus Freeman, because the decision would entirely be his, if he were to decide to move from South Bend to Gainesville?
I think we're overrating some coaches and underrating others. And here's what I'll say. This might be considered a hot take, whatever. What Marcus Freeman did, what Ryan Day did, what Dan Lanning did, even what Kirby Smart did, impressive, not the greatest coaching jobs we've ever seen. And the reason is because Marcus Freeman took the job from someone who got a promotion. Right. Kelly went to LSU as in his view, a raise, a higher level job.
Brian Kelly and his family.
Family. Going back home to Louisiana. That was considered the better job. So he got the LSU job because the program at Notre Dame was in good shape. And that's what Marcus Freeman took over. Ryan Day got the job because Urban Meyer wanted to ruin the Jaguars. It wasn't because the program was in bad shape. It was because Urban Meyer was doing so good in college that your boy and his family paid him a ton of money to go to the pros. Okay.
My boy.
So it was a good spot.
Yeah. And it's the easiest job in the country.
Dan Lanning got the job at Oregon because Mario was doing so well that Miami threw money at him. And Oregon tried to keep him, but they couldn't. There's a world of difference to me in coaching between those coaching jobs, which are not easy. Like Kirby Smart, took Georgia to another level, but Georgia was already a legit program, but he did take him to another level. So I'm not saying there's no credit there, but Georgia was already legit. The person who made Georgia legit was actually Mark Richt, because Georgia before Mark Richt was mediocre as can be for 20 years. So that kind of coaching job to me is what we really should be praising. And if you want to take a program like Miami when they hired Mario, or whatever other program, Florida right now, which is in the dumpster, FSU right now, which is in the dumpster, and you want to get them to a higher place, to me, the coaches I would want are people who built a program up, not someone who just took over a program that was already doing good because they've already done it. Drinkwitz 100% would be a better candidate than Lane Kiffin.
I know people are kind of scared of the personality thing being too similar to Dan Mullen, but like I think that he's shown he can recruit with a legit backing to a higher level than Mullen was doing.
And to be fair, Lane elevated Ole Miss. Not like Ole Miss he inherited. So I'm not saying that either. Lane did that well. Lane deserves credit.
I'm the biggest Lane guy here.
Franklin,
I love Lane too, Mike.
Okay,
I do
good.
too. I would say he should be the guy. But I think Drinkwitz is a really good option.
He's an interesting guy. I'd like to see him do it. I mean, Mizzou's a big job, right?
Shoot, they've been winning for a couple years now with him, right? I mean,
okay.
Did they not beat Ohio State a couple years? Was that last year?
No, not last year.
No, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Though. That was 2 years ago. They beat Ohio State in one of those big. It was a big bowl game.
On
right?
3 did it like a whole thing. Like Eli would be a good guy there. They're going to make an impressive hire.
I think it's going to be Lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm when you talk about that Formula D, I think Drinkwitz fits that.
and Lane would be an upgrade. I don't want to get confused. I was reacting strong because you were saying something which is considered a hot take that Franklin be a better candidate for them than Lane. And I think that should be the obvious take. And you have to convince me why Lane is better. Lane's better than what they got, no doubt. But if you're trying to build a program up, I want the guy who is scandal proof, who took a team to the playoff and built up the best roster ever with less money than Ole Miss had, by the way.
Slight misrepresentation of what I said,
right,
even though it may be what I believe.
Give it to me.
And that I think James Franklin could do a really good job at Florida. I do believe that. But what I'm saying is James Franklin specifically to Florida State would be a better, more impactful hire than Lane Kiffin to Florida.
Yeah.
Given what ails Florida State, they kind of need someone to totally build a program up and show them how it's done. They're in not a great financial situation. They spent a lot of money on this lawsuit. They embarrassed themselves with the lawsuit, thinking that they demanded more, that they deserve more money from a conference that they haven't won in 2 years. What do you make of this, Sam? Mike Norvell, 6-2 against the SEC over the last 2 seasons.
What's our record against the SEC? 3-0, right?
And by the way, like half of those wins are against LSU and Alabama. Like he's doing it against the upper echelon there, right? And he's like 1-11, 1-12 against the ACC in the same span. Pretty nuts. We'll get to ACC versus SEC perception more closer to CFP playoff time. But I think that
I wish we played Florida every week.
When we were having the Lane Kiffin discussions down here, where I would acknowledge that if Miami had its bleep together at the time the job was open, and if the collective was at the place that it is now, if the athletic department was in the place that it is now, yeah, give me the better X's and O coach down here. We'll do the recruiting for Lane Kiffin. You go out on the boat, and when we have a recruit that's important enough for you to come in and shake hands and kiss some babies, come on in. We'll deal with you there. We have blue martinis. Let's do it. But Miami needed a program rebuilder, an ass kicker, a culture setter. And that's why Mario Cristobal, for me, got the edge over Lane Kiffin, even though I would agree with you a million times over Lane Kiffin's a better head coach. But there's more to it in college football. And James Franklin, I think, would cure a lot of what ails Florida State, what has gone wrong with Mike Norvell. James Franklin very quickly would fix a lot of that and raise the floor. Now, he can't win the big game. They routinely play Miami. That's a big game, so I'm not necessarily worried about that either.
A lot of questions about Jimbo Fisher and how he would fit in. I mean, Jimbo's reaching the hard candies stage of his career. I think he would.
I would not be scared of Jimbo Fisher. We beat Jimbo Fisher his last game at FSU. We beat Jimbo Fisher one of his last games at Texas A&M. I don't know if Jimbo Fisher.
I think there's worse options, man.
They may do that because they don't have a lot of money. And Jimbo had the big emotional return when Miami came back, and he was teary-eyed and was finally embraced when he was a villain. That would be a cool, nice story. That would be them shopping in the bargain bin, and the results, I think, would reflect that. I think the game has passed him by.
If you don't want to shop in the bargain bin, you want to get the absolute best quality, like Ralphie Rodriguez said. Lane would have loved the Dadeland Dining Pavilion. It's like Monte Carlo out there in the Dadeland Mall Dining Pavilion. And, of course, the flagship restaurant there East Las Canarias Cuban Express. This is what takes it from a food court. It used to be a food court. You guys remember the Dayland food court?
Mhm.
Didn't become a dining pavilion until these boys moved in. East Las Canarias Cuban Express, 7 different types of croquetas. You got all the sandwiches. You got the grab and go type of options. These loaded tostones, loaded fries, pastries. You got the full bakery at your disposal. Bowls, salads, you name it, they got it. The shakes. Were you a big shake guy?
Mm-hmm. I
What-
like shakes.
What's Trigo in English? Do you know what it is?
What's the word?
Trigo, Trigo.
That's wheat.
It's wheat.
Trigo's wheat, yeah.
What's mamey, the fruit?
Mamey is a fruit.
But is it still called that in English? I never heard it in English.
Mamey, yeah. I've never heard it called anything else.
Yeah. Well,
Dude,
they got that.
I'm looking at the Instagram right now. They have a pumpkin spice frappe.
Woof.
Frappe available at East Las Canarias Express. And
Oh, your accent is all over the place.
Frappe.
It's the buzzing, man.
I haven't cracked one open, and I'm starting to see the results. This
They're
is
also
more
doing a
leisure time.
collab with Apocalypse right now, which I'm seeing.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
some sort of.
I like Apocalypse and Pop Subs. Shout out to Pop Subs.
Oh,
they
shout out to
always help us out on this show.
Want to give him another shout out?
Mhm.
So, I was chilling with my boy, the Orchid Man, the other day. That's ORCHID Man, the Orchid Man. And
Still sounds like working to me.
ORCHID Man.
Orchid.
Orchid. There's no acento there.
Orchid.
It's on the or.
Orchid. Man.
The Orchid Man. We were chilling. He was wearing his Orchid Man t-shirt. I was wearing my CanesInSight t-shirt. This is a pillar of the community. You see him at Riviera Country Club for lunch. I mean, this guy is a
Riv.
baller. But we were talking about being, middle-aged men and people not calling us by our first name. He is the Orchid Man at all times. He could be with the elite of Miami society, of South Florida society, and he's still the Orchid Man. I'm always D-Money. Have a text from the mayor of Miami saying, D-Money, what's going on signing day? So no matter who's addressing you, no matter where they are, it's always your nickname. So we're just talking about being old men, trying to see how long we can stretch this thing. How long can you stretch being called a D-Money or an Orchid Man, ORCHID Man? We'll find out.
Yeah, you're D-Money until your dying day, pal. If someone says, hey, do you know Danny? I'm like, huh? Who? What? You must go way back.
Oh, yeah. It's my business partner. Never my friend. Never my boy. It's my boy. It's always,
Okay.
This is my business. You're introducing me. This is my business partner. I feel like I'm meeting potential clients. This is my business partner. Never a tailgate.
Sorry to continue to blur the lines between work and shoot and invoke your real name. Or kayfabe. Keep kayfabe.
South Florida's landscape artisans from Palm Beach down to the Keys, 786-271-0332. That's 786-271-0332. Make landscape maintenance easy, attention to detail. Just get it out of your head. You got a business, you got a property that's commercial, or maybe just your house, and you want the thing to look spick and span. You don't want to think about the landscape, and you want it nice, but you don't want to think about it. ORCHID Man, Florida. Sprinkler, gutters, tree stumps. You got tree stump problems?
Oh, tree stumps are the worst to get rid of. You need a really skilled landscaper for that.
You need a landscape artisan for that. OrchidManFlorida.com.
Landscape artisan.
Can I get one more thing? It's not a plug. It's just it's something that's concerning me here.
Hold on.
Oh, this might be. We might need the watchdog for this. I'm treading
The
lightly.
Iranian Pomeranian.
The Iranian Pomeranian, the Persian pit bull. So I got a text from, I won't say who it is, but let's say it's a very beautiful, accomplished University of Miami employee who has high standards, pays attention to detail, and is trying to go 1-0 every week. And she sent me this text during the show, and she said, "What is this?" And there it is right there. The Iranian Pomeranian is about to take a dump on it.
Yeah.
This is
The
right now.
Tehran Terrier.
This is what we have at the University of Miami. Fan zone tickets, which was empty, by the way, because the student section was empty for Miami versus Louisville, which already happened. We got
Sloppy
another home
operation in the Gables
game.
right
We
now.
got another home game. Let's tighten this up. Who do we got to talk to? Let's tighten this thing up. This is embarrassing.
Look at him. You know what?
The watchdog ain't happy.
He's on the grass.
He's on
though.
it. He's
liking
boots
it.
on the ground. He'll fix it.
The Kabul canine. The Tehran
this-
Terrier.
You know what? This wasn't good. It's not bad. It's actually worse than I thought it was.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Let's do our jobs, guys. Let's do our jobs. Go 1-0.
Oh, why are we shouting into the void? Poor DJ Volume had all this wash up upon him, and his cardinal sin was to respond to the critique by rightfully alerting us at saying, "Hey guys, you may have your feelings about me. Problem's bigger than just me. If you have a problem, well, we played conga in one of the biggest defensive snaps of the year. We have a problem now. Let's be better. Someone do something about this. I know we have a platform that people listen to. Maybe it's the Iranian Pomeranian that we need to talk to. Coach, if you're listening, Coach, we want to make it an asylum. Say something. Send an email. Do something. No more conga."
This is good.
You know, Mo Hussein's locked in. Pack the rock. Let's go, fans. This is we all got to be better. I didn't have my voice when the show started. I had an empty note right there, a flat note to start the show. So we all got to get better. Look, we all got to take responsibility and get better here. So this guy in here, a lot of Golesh talk. Martin says in the fan zone on Friday was full of Louisville fans in the fan zone. There were Louisville fans in the fan zone. You can sell your fan zone tickets.
Let's not even get started on the student body.
Listen, I know we have
pathetic student body.
I know we have UM students in the chat because when I go on campus, I get a lot of daps from young whippersnappers. If you guys are UM students in the chat who know people, who is in charge of the fan zone? Because the signs are off, the seats are empty, and when they're filled with Louisville fans. And this is supposed to be the fan zone. This is not even the whole stadium, which you think the whole stadium would be a fan zone. This is like this is the eye of the hurricane.
If I were an opposing fan, I'd spend time in that fan zone. I don't think you need tickets to that. Like, you can just walk up to it and it's cool. There's all sorts of games there and cool cars on display.
Oh, so it's not a seat. It's like it's in the stadium?
Like, yeah, outside where people broadcast from. I don't think that there's like a seat.
In my day, there were serious consequences if an opposition fan stepped into the fan zone.
Yeah, like, what can it be like an autonomous zone? You can't cross the line.
I just walk right into it.
You cannot cross the line.
I mean, it would.
People mark territory all the time. Can we mark that territory that you cannot cross the line without getting beaten or just at least heckled?
There were mental and physical consequences.
Look, there
I was
enough,
going to games.
There aren't enough Miami students there to hold the line. And do you know how much crap I've gotten in my 40 years about supporting this program and having not gone to the school? And yeah, it's something that I wear. I've gone to other schools. D-Money, you went to another school, but I love this program. I give to this program. I have every right to support this program. I wish I went to that school. It wasn't in the cards for me. It wasn't good enough in school. It pisses me off to no end that kids that do go to this school with a proud tradition that get free tickets and bus rides and an opportunity to enjoy and witness something really special that Mario Cristobal is building and be like, nah, no, I'd rather sleep in. What are we doing? You're in college. These are supposed to be the glory years. You'll recount these years, and maybe you're doing something that you'll remember better. Who knows? Call me silly, but if I go to the University of Miami and they're good at football, I'd want to be there. I don't get it.
I mean, should we announce that Mr. Beast is going to be at the fan zone? Like, what do these kids like? Because I thought they liked partying, but then I see them and they look like dweebs. What's going on?
It's a game. The tailgates there are awesome.
The cool ones are there.
Hold on, D.
The cool ones are there.
Now you're taking shots at the student body. I'm gonna have to.
The cool ones are there. The cool ones are in the student section.
I might have to get President Echeverria watchdog on you now.
He knows everybody's got to get better. That guy's on point. I see Echeverria at every single practice wearing a suit.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to rock.
When it's 100 degrees out.
Sweating, no problem.
He knows it has to look a certain way. He invented looking a certain way.
Lurf per se. What is this boomer talk? Well,
the boomer talk? Kids get out there, have a good time.
We haven't even gotten to the wrestling yet.
Well, EJ says Abel Danger wasn't there. I see her out there. At the games.
She was absolutely there.
She was there.
She was there. Trust me.
So, I mean, if she's out there, if she's a student.
Yeah.
Let's get the students out there, man. God blessed. Setting a terrible example.
I'm sorry. We'll do better.
Ticket staff gave away too many tickets last Friday.
Too many tickets last Friday?
I don't know where they went.
Too many? No, it was 3 points weekend, and our students would rather be at 3 points than at Miami, Louisville, which, okay, do both.
Yeah, I like this. Just get the tickets to community kids for free. Do the old like in the U when they gave it on the McDonald's and the Burger King bags.
You could look. I This isn't my idea, but I heard like, you want to do community engagement? Offer up. I was an MDC Shark. That was a Miami Hurricanes fan. If our student body doesn't want to go, let's offer up free tickets to Miami-Dade College fans. I want to go support this program. Let's do that. If you don't want to be there, someone else will. Because one thing that can happen is empty seats there. There's an allotment that you're not taking advantage of. There are people, financial times are only getting harder, folks. There are people that would love to have the opportunities that you're just ignoring. So I would absolutely say you have this small of a window because you haven't deserved a larger window. You get this allotment, that's fine. You get right of first refusal, but outside of like a 12-hour window, we're going to knock on some doors at MDC and make sure these kids have an opportunity to go there and root on the Miami Hurricanes if you're not.
Well said. Well said. Sergio says, wait to see the Stanford crowd. No drone shots, please, ESPN. I think the one thing is you do avoid the traffic issue, which was a real thing. But yeah,
it'll be a conga line.
Let's do it right. Let's do it here.
All right, let's get to the real adult stuff. No more boomer talk. Let's talk wrestling.
Oh wait, we're gonna skip the pick. We gotta do the picks.
No, we can do the picks later. But
right.
I wanted the setup of the
it was
wrestling.
A great setup. I kind of ruined it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. It's all right. You need a watchdog. My wrestler of the week is Roddy Piper, the Hot Rod. I was watching some of his WCW work over at Las Rosas. Man, that was a really bad Halloween Havoc. Woo!
This one, the one he fought Hogan?
Well, yeah, the Hogan one.
That was a great Halloween Havoc. That had Rey Mysterio against Eddie Guerrero, the best match ever in WCW.
That main event. Roddy Piper's main events with Hogan in WCW.
He was a little long in the tooth. That was the same day that the Marlins defeated the Cleveland Indians, Game 7, win the World Series. Baseball playoffs cooking, by the way. But that was that day. That match was a great Havoc.
Roddy Piper once beat Hulk Hogan with a sleeper hold, a finish that in the late 90s seemed absurd, as absurd as it would seem today.
What people in UFC finish people with sleeper holds all the time.
Roddy Piper is, what do you say, easily top 5 guy on the microphone ever.
Yes,
build that out. Ric Flair.
Yep.
Man, Roddy, The Rock.
Yep. Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Is that 5?
Yeah.
I think we got
Jake the Snake Roberts OLI.
Yeah. But no, he had some great ones, but he didn't have to electrify the crowd. It's hard to be those face promos are hard. I know if you could have slogans and stuff. Well, I mean, then Roddy was a heel, but like just getting the crowd working consistently, like Jake the Snake had chilling kind of deals on those vignettes, but it wasn't like he was like working the crowd into a frenzy every night. This guy was. And he was a good baby face too. He would sell a match like you wouldn't believe. But I'd like to talk about the in-ring work. One of my favorite matches ever. Great puncher.
Great punches. Intercontinental title match against Bret the Hitman Hart.
WrestleMania 8. First WrestleMania I ever saw.
WrestleMania match, street fight, Hollywood backlot brawl with Goldust. What a match that was.
Unbelievable.
Roddy Piper was the man. Gone way too soon. A great cameo in the hilarious show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, my all-time favorite comedy show. He was the best. Great and They Live. Gone way too soon. I miss having his presence around the sport because this guy was a serial truth teller. And also, yours truly, I've told this show before, I probably would not be sitting here if it were not for Roddy Piper.
Oh, please
tell. Because
a
coked out Jimmy Snuka tried to attack my dad when my dad was driving some of these guys around. When my dad got a little too comfortable and started suggesting the business might be predetermined, coked out Jimmy Snuka, who, check it out, had a past of violence, decided to make a run at my dad. Roddy Piper stepped in, saved my dad. Get out of here, man. He's one of us. He's good. He's good, brother. Mike, get out. So Roddy Piper saved my dad from getting his ass kicked by Jimmy Snuka. So always a soft spot in my heart, a heart that may not exist were not for Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper, man. Also put Bill Maher in his place pretty good on Politically Incorrect or whatever show he was doing at the time.
Yep.
LinkedIn Lou, one of the best, says Roddy showed up to George Saharian steroid trial, concussed due to an Undertaker tombstone. Huh. Unbelievable. They Live. He was great. I'm here to chew gum and kick ass and I'm all out of gum. That line's been used a million different times. I'm surprised he didn't act more. He was a good actor.
He was a great actor. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. It's a shame. Like he was doing some, like the Always Sunny episode was fantastic that he was on. It's real sad that he got sick and perish because
he was not old either.
no, he had another run. Do you remember the run that he had
Yes.
with like Sean O'Hare where
Yeah.
he came back and it was him and Hulk Hogan reheating it? Like he's one of these guys that could have been around the business like a Jerry Lawler, just on the headphones. Just the business is worse off without Roddy Piper, and he was a real one too. Guy would keep it
Golden
real.
Gloves boxer. They always said it when he would throw his punches. They're like Golden Gloves boxer.
Real one, Roddy Piper. Who's your wrestler of the week?
Oh, he escaped to Alcatraz to take on Hogan at Starrcade. LinkedIn Lou, man, always great with the info. I'm honoring some folks that are no longer with us here with the wrestler and the songs. So starting with the wrestler, I got Men on a Mission, MOM, which is a kind of like New Day in a way, and not because of the ethnicity or whatever, just because the whole gimmick was like positive thinking and getting the crowd pumped up. And there used to be 3 of them. Oscar, who I think they got rid of him pretty fast.
Yeah,
he was the O in MOM, but really a ridiculous gimmick. But New Day, which I think were better performers, right?
Yeah.
They just took it to a whole different level.
Yeah.
Added different layers to
and
it.
they tried to make them like a more of a religious gospel
Right,
type
at
of
first,
thing,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that was DOA, and they decided let's just be us.
But these guys, that was their gimmick at first. They were like a positive thinking gimmick back in the day. Obviously, you had Mabel and Mo. Mo passing away this week. Forgot he was in his 60s, something like that. RIP to Mo. Mabel no longer with us, also known as Viscera. You could see from his size, that was a tough frame to keep up. But man, what killed me about this tag team is that his name was Mabel, and Mabel's a very common Cuban woman name. So I'd be going to like family things and meeting like Mabel and like Mabel, like this Mabel right here, the Splash, like the big dude from the King of the Ring. That's you're the same name as this guy. It took me many years to figure it out. I still don't know why people are named Mabel. If you're named Mabel, drop the information in the chat as to the origin of the name. But this guy right here ruined Mabel for everybody. So
Yeah. And Mabel's inexplicable push to be King of the Ring just because of his sheer size and main event push thereafter was quite honestly the worst spell in World Wrestling Federation history. That was when WCW started making inroads right there.
Oh, snap, it's Mike. He said, we had a strain we grew called Scotty Too Hottie. Haha, shout out Rikishi. Shout out to Bluminati in Cedar Falls, Montana. Sea Falls. I'm not sure what the C stands for.
Scotty Tuati just got engaged.
Bluminati. Yeah, he did. He looked great.
He got engaged.
He was on a farm.
Well, I thought it was at Disney World.
Wait, hold. By the way, LinkedIn Lou, you dropped some things on us, LinkedIn Lou, that have really enlightened us. I don't think anything has ever matched this. Look at this from LinkedIn Lou, Mike. YouTube, the Mabel versus Mo submission match from the Indies. Surprisingly good. I will YouTube that.
Is this a thing?
I will YouTube that. It can't be copyrighted because they're guaranteed that was not any kind of official thing.
Submission match.
Submission match. That's the worst match I've ever heard on paper.
That can't be. Is that a real thing? Mabel entered a feud with his former partner Sir Mo, defeating him in a submission match January 17th in 2004.
Doesn't even show up on YouTube. Wait, we're working on it. There's like is that a dog fighting video?
No, that's a video of Cam. That's a photo of Cam Gordy.
No, right here. The Persian Pomeranian.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's see what's going on. Best wrestling entrance from Andres Orozco. Undertaker. Let's not overthink it. Did you find the Mabel Mo match?
No, I can't find it.
LinkedIn Lou, man.
They
should kick you off LinkedIn for having such a dirtbag collection of indie submission matches.
Around 2004, after several years away from watching wrestling, thinking I was too grown up from it, and how silly was the notion was that. I got into like Ring of Honor.
Yep.
But
almost joined Ring of Honor, as lore has it.
Yeah, I was considering being a wrestler, but thankfully I lived my dreams out vicariously through Domino. Shout out to Domino.
Shout out to Champ.
It was the last vestiges of internet trading, videotape trading.
Yeah.
And I found a guy online that would burn DVDs for me, and I would watch all these incredible matches in ROH, like Alex Shelley versus Samoa Joe and CM Punk versus Raven and all that stuff. I miss the charm of working for older clips, because right now the internet killed it. But there's a match here that is not on the internet that I would go to a message board and like contact a tape dealer and, hey, give me the Mabel versus Mo submission match from January 17, 2004. And you'd have a plug like that. There was always a guy. Miss that community.
If someone has the Mabel most submission match on tape.
Group watch.
Call the FBI. Someone's got to go there and investigate this person.
We'll do a group watch together live. CanesInSight.
I used to have tapes too. I still have a bunch. I taped over my sister's first communion for wrestling. I believe it might have been the Eddie Guerrero
for
Mysterio
uncensored
match.
97.
There it is. They found it. Memphis Wrestling, King Mabel versus Sir Mo. They still kept their royal titles. I guess you don't lose those titles. January 17th, 2004. Just found it on YouTube.
Okay, well, I know what I'm watching in traffic.
Adam Clark says this section from Mabel's Wikipedia is emblematic of mid-2000s WWE. His first major storyline start April 2005 when he aligned with Trish Stratus as part of her feud with Lita and Lita's husband, Kane.
Yeah.
Now
That's when they decided
mayor
to make
of
him
Knox
like
County.
a super sexual character because it works so well with Mark Henry, and that's how Vince McMahon thought.
Yeah, that's it.
And we've done this
Lightning
once
didn't
before.
strike twice.
Yeah. What was his name? Was he Viscera when he became sexual, or did they give
Big
him a
Daddy
different
V,
name?
I believe.
Big Daddy V.
As Adam Clark let him know in the comments.
He would just lay on people and hump them as a finisher. All right, let's get to the song of the week. D Money, you lead us off.
We'll keep it somber here for the dearly departed, and I am going, which I was rocking on the way over here, driving through Glenvar Heights, driving through the 826, sun beaming, windows
Special.
down, the sunroof. It was one of the greatest moments of my life since the last Canes win. She, live version by Kiss on Kiss Alive, one of the greatest live albums, probably the most influential live album of all time. And I'll go and say that Ace Frehley, what a cover that is, unbelievable.
Do you think that this is the most influential live album of all time?
What would be ahead of it?
Let me think.
You're going to be thinking a while, my friend.
Well, I already a couple things come to mind that
Like
you'll
what?
just summarily dismiss. This is time to honor Ace Frehley.
Well,
I'll let you do your thing and I'll come back at you.
More people played music because of this album, Kiss Alive, and joined bands.
Elvis had some good ones.
But Elvis didn't have live out. Oh, well, I guess like Live at the Aloha, but it wasn't
Aloha.
like, I mean, this was like a platinum kind of album, I think. Pretty sure this sold a ton of records. This was their biggest album.
You say influential, and I'd agree with you, because the best live album of all time for me is Daft Punk Alive, and they took a lot of inspiration from this album cover.
There you
It's
go.
basically a direct ripoff from
Which is sick,
of it.
unbelievable album cover. They had the visual from the beginning. But yeah, this thing inspired a ton. Dazed and Confused, the guy quit the football team, starting quarterback, because of this album, Kiss Alive. And the song in particular, She. So Ace Frehley, lead guitarist for Kiss. You see him right there in the middle. Space Ace, right in the middle of that frame, passed away, sadly, this past week. And not only is this the most influential live album, in my view, he's the most influential guitarist, lead guitarist, since Jimi Hendrix. Not saying he's the greatest,
Ooh.
although he's really good.
I'm a big Kiss guy. Keep preaching. Oh, you know that Mini Kiss is playing here in November
Are they really?
at like Lincoln's Beard.
Oh, okay. I'm in. I mean, can they play? Are their hands big enough to
Mini
stroke?
Kiss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not familiar with Mini
I'm not.
Kiss's game?
I didn't know they're okay. Good.
It's a big deal getting Mini Kiss.
All right. Well, listen, I will be there. You're influential when you have mini versions of your band. I don't see mini.
Let
see
me
many
tell you
Velvet
something. The
Undergrounds.
Bird Road Cultural Arts District is
Yes, it's popping.
booming, man.
It's coming alive.
We're
if you will.
surrounded by art here. The art of Adrian Lorenzo, one of the top artists in the city of Miami. But yeah, if you have Mini Kiss, there's no Mini Velvet Underground. There's no Mini Sonic Youth. You know what I mean? There's a Mini Kiss. That's how big it is.
Sinatra at the Sands.
Never heard of it. I heard Sinatra. I've heard of the Sands. I never heard of Sinatra at the Sands.
That was a great live album.
Kiss Alive, you know.
How
Ace
about
Frehley,
Live at the Apollo, James Brown?
That's a good one. That's a good
Frampton
one.
Comes Alive.
That's a good one too. Frantic
And-
Comes Alive, which again, another Alive.
This is the one that's going to get you.
At Folsom Prison, I mean, we know about it now because it's in a movie, but it's not like kids in the 70s were starting bands because of At Folsom Prison.
All right.
I like Live at the Leeds as my favorite live album. Also, Live and Dangerous by Thin Lizzy. Incredibles.
Not in the influential category because it came after, but the
Yeah.
Nirvana Unplugged album.
Nirvana, I agree. So that's a good one. So let's look at Nirvana Unplugged. So Nirvana Unplugged. Let me just look at the set list for Nirvana Unplugged.
Nirvana Unplugged, it's better
That
than
was the
Kiss
other one I
Alive,
had.
not as influential.
I wouldn't say it's better, but not for me. It's not for everybody.
Ooh.
Not for others. It may be. It may be. It may be.
Pete, you be the tiebreaker here. I know you're locked in. You keep thinking, pal.
I don't have an answer for you.
So I believe. Which song? So,
I do have an artist of the week, but
wait, hold on, wait. Oh, okay, give it to me. Give it to us. Give it to me.
Well, I don't have a song. I just wanted to shout out my top 2 or 3 favorite artists. Hood Rich Pablo Juan is back this week. Got released from federal prison. Beat the RICO charge. I wouldn't say beat it, but lessen the sentence, and he's back home now. So, of course, Hood Rich Pablo Juan of the Designer Drugs mixtape series. Go ahead, D.
Oh, I was waiting for the big finale.
That was it. I
appreciate it. He's filling while you were looking something up.
I had an artist of the week while you were.
No, I heard the Designer Drugs mixtape series. I was waiting to hear the whole biography.
He's famously known for that. I'm sure you've listened to him, but fantastic artist. Can't wait for that first day out to drop. I heard a snippet of it yesterday. Sounds good.
There we go. First day out, Pete, artist of the week. I like it.
Did you catch the name? Hood Rich Pablo Juan.
Hood Rich Pablo
Juan.
Is he one of us? Is he a Hispanic artist? Or is he like Sosa?
He's from Atlanta.
From Atlanta. So one thing I was looking for, and I disrupted the timing to look this up, but I found it, which is that Nirvana, which I agree that was the other album I was thinking of, was the Unplugged, which is self-inspired by Elvis Presley's sit-down performance at the 68 comeback special. They covered Do You Love Me by Kiss. Nirvana did. So that's how influential Kiss is. And Ace Frehley, there's no Ace Frehley. There's no Tom Morello.
No.
There is no Rivers Cuomo.
Nope.
There's no Pantera and Dimebag Darrell, who I believe was buried in a Kiss shirt.
Rivers admits this in his famous song In the Garage.
He sure did. Shouting out Ace Frehley. And then this one here with Mike McCready and Pearl Jam. So this song I chose, She by Kiss, the live version, has a solo about the 3-minute mark after an instrumental breakdown.
I didn't know you were a Weezer nerd. All right.
I'm a Weezer nerd. I like Weezer. I like the first 2 albums. And
everybody likes the first
everybody
2 albums.
does. And then, so 3 minute in to Kiss Alive, Ace Frehley rips an incredible solo.
Uh-huh.
That solo was reproduced note by note on Pearl Jam Alive. Listen to the solo on this CanesInSight Song of the Week, which, by the way, you can check all of our songs on the CanesInSight playlist. Just write CanesInSight into Apple Music, Spotify, it'll pop up. It has all these songs. Listen to this song, Kiss, She. The solo from this song, Ace Frehley, the late Ace Frehley, was copied note by note by Mike McCready for Pearl Jam Alive, which I believe is Pearl Jam's most famous solo, iconic solo. But here's what you don't know. That solo was, in fact, ripped off from The Doors' 5 to 1, which was another CanesInSight playlist song.
Wow.
Famously sampled by Kanye West in Jay-Z's diss of Nas, The Takeover. So one solo, you got Kanye, you got Jay-Z, you got Nas, you got The Doors, you got Kiss, you got Pearl Jam, all united through this unbelievable solo. My favorite version was the Kiss one. The Pearl Jam one was good too. The Doors one's great as well. They're all good. That was a little lesson in musical universality. Is that a word?
Musicology. Shout out Prince.
Shout out Prince. Musicology. Everything united as one, as we're going to be united as one, going 1-0 this week. So shout out to Kiss. Shout out to Don Pablo Juan. What's his name?
Hood Rich Pablo Juan.
Hood Rich Pablo.
I'll send you a few of my favorites.
Send me some. Yeah, send me some choice nugs on Pablo Juan.
Hood Rich Pablo.
Hood Rich Pablo Juan.
My song of the week is John Tesh, Round Ball Rock. Because the NBA is back, Jack. And I don't know if did you guys watch the NBA on NBC last night? How great was that presentation?
I didn't know.
So Pete, you're probably too young to have like a real deep appreciation for the NBA on NBC. Maybe you have some memories of it.
I remember Lakers. Their
Lakers Blazers.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
That was my first NBA memories as a lifelong Lakers fan. And it was just it's ingrained. So in my
like
memory.
we were talking about it on the show, on the Levitard show, and Dan was saying like, wow, this is going to bring the 40-year-olds back. And I'm like, to basketball because of the nostalgia. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. They're going to love this. And I was like, wait a second. I'm one of those guys now because I absolutely went back to it as a 40-year-old, went back to it for the nostalgia, and it delivered. The NBC Peacock did an incredible job covering the NBA. And look, I'm one of those guys. I've shown it before. if you're not entertaining, I'm gonna peace out. I did so on baseball. Well, pro baseball. Love college baseball.
Too early.
Shout out
Playoffs are
JD.
cooking right now, but go ahead.
Second screen experience. Baseball's been delivering in the postseason. I will give it that. It was a great Game 7 in Toronto. Heartbroken for my Mariners.
I saw a video where John Tesh explains how he wrote this song. It's like, I guess he does it in concert. It's like one of his bits that he does in concert.
Yeah, it was great. And he's explained this several times on our show. You know, he's given our show the rights to Round Ball Rock.
Oh. So again,
the YouTube algo still hasn't caught on to that. Doesn't think it's binding, but he has given it. He's like, we can use it whenever we want. But Round Ball Rock is synonymous.
Does that extend to us? Can we do it? Dun, dun, dun.
Doesn't extend to CanesInSight Enterprises. But it's one of the best songs, one of the best sports themes ever. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to salute NBC's incredible coverage
I'm a nasty whistler.
of the NBA.
You're whistling up that
Quite
yellow
honestly,
mic's got you wide open.
Whistler.
Quite honestly, like outside of TNT's studio show, basketball coverage has stunk. ESPN does a terrible job with the product. So I was so happy to get someone new in the game. NBC delivered. Appreciate it. Now we're going to close this thing out with picks.
No, he's playing nothing. You notice that he's playing imaginary piano here, Tesh?
Yeah. The basketball, gimme.
When I hit background removal, it took the piano out.
Basketball.
Shout out to
What's Fran Brown's problem?
What do you do? He's talking again?
No, it's just a general observation. I didn't know he had beef with Frankie.
I mean, Fran Brown.
Both those coaches are dying to leave.
What's Fran Brown's record right now? What's Syracuse's record? They're not doing too hot. What's the record?
He hasn't showered in a month.
Let's see. Syracuse Orange 3-4, and they got
tough.
Los
Angeles.
They're facing Georgia Tech, North Carolina. They'll win. Miami, they will get absolutely obliterated.
We marked calendars there, Fran.
Then Notre Dame and Boston College. So looking at potentially
have a wide receiver in attendance for an official visit. What do you say? All right, let's get to picks. Can you put up the graphic? Because I kind of forgot what I sent.
Me too.
Over.
I had to check before.
All right. Let's begin with Ole Miss plus 4.5. Did you see what Lane Kiffin said about Oklahoma this week?
What did he say?
He says they are really good at getting those signals down. He texted Hugh Freeze after the game. He's like, man, it's almost like they knew every play that you were running out there. This is where I'm down with Lane's like particular brand. He's keeping it real there. He's saying Brent Venables cheats, and he's gonna have to cover this 4.5. You thought you could get one over on old Lane. Lane's gonna say inside that 4.5. Haven't been too impressed with Oklahoma. I know you got South Carolina on your card. That seems like a really difficult team to trust.
Yeah, no, I'm nervous about it.
It's a great betting spot. I'm going to be taking them because every week I'm fading Alabama because these numbers are right on the money. That pick 6 at the goal line killed Tennessee last week. Alabama, they lost to FSU. They're good. But Ole Miss, I think, is good enough to keep it inside that number. And Oklahoma, maybe they've shown us their best. And when it comes to Venables versus Lane in one game sample, I'm going to take Lane Kiffin here with the points. So I like them there. USF Memphis, I just think USF's a great deal better than Memphis. I think people are betting spot here.
Yeah, like a comeback spot.
But I think USF is too good to apply that kind of logic. They're not an overrated team. It's one of Miami's best victories, second best victory on their resume for a reason. And not unlike fading Alabama, Michigan State is always finding itself on my card. This is their last chance for me. At a certain point, I stopped trusting teams. Michigan's not good. That's too many points on the road in a big rivalry. Michigan State showed me a little fight with Indiana. They were hovering around that number, just enough for me to trust them yet again. I'm going to take Michigan State here, who I don't know why, but I still believe is a well-coached team with a good enough quarterback to cover 14.5 points. I think it's too many points, so I'm taking Michigan State there, but this is their last opportunity. Auburn's not allowed to be on my betting card, and you took Auburn. I can't believe it. They're banned.
I hate all my teams. I'm doing poor this year. Let's say mediocre this year. You are killing it this year.
You are taking two teams that are really hard to trust here.
One of my teams that I couldn't quit was Duke. I kept thinking, quarterback. I've been burned on that one 3 times.
I told you.
That one didn't make any sense.
You hit that one.
That was spot. People were betting spot. Manny Diaz isn't a good enough coach to be like spot guy, especially when he's going up against a better coach. Bring Key. I
like the quarterback, but I like the Georgia Tech quarterback too. That was a miss.
Manny was coaching the team.
I'm making some bad decisions here on this year slate. But Let's see if we can bounce back.
Why do you trust South Carolina? Why do you trust Auburn?
Well, I don't trust South Carolina necessarily. It's just home field, 12.5. Their quarterback's healthy. I think he's an impact player. I know he's played terrible this year. I'm sure he's hearing that. And I think I see a bounce back. You know,
all these things applied to the Oklahoma game last week.
It's true.
And none of it worked out.
None of it worked out.
Sellers looks bad.
He looks terrible. He's not throwing the ball very well. They're really not running the ball very well, but Alabama is weak against the run, as we know. And I think South Carolina is going to come out challenging that. They might run Sellers more, which he's very capable
Everything
of doing.
we were saying about the Tennessee, the misdirection, the counters, like the explosive run plays, that happened. Alabama did get torched on the ground.
Sure did.
There is a blueprint to beat Alabama every week, and they're just getting by. It kind of feels like the late stages of Jordan Travis FSU. Like this feels like the window is indeed closing. That some of the overreactions were right for Alabama after they lost to FSU. But teams are just not doing enough.
No.
They're not playing good games against Alabama, and it's nothing that Alabama's doing.
Well, I think the quarterback is playing very well, and he's getting them over the hump in some of these close games. I thought when Missouri played Alabama, we'll get to Missouri here in a second, I thought they were the better team, and Alabama was able to win because Alabama had the better quarterback.
The difference there was absolutely good. There was an ocean-sized gulf between the two quarterbacks in that game.
So I think that's really – Alabama reminds me a lot of the Washington team that DeBoer had that went to the championship, which, look, maybe these guys go to the championship, but you have 3 NFL receivers. I think Horton will make the NFL. Bernard, outstanding. Ryan Williams starting to come on, had a really good week last week, very talented guy. And then Simpson is a real quarterback. Reminds me of Brock Purdy, just because of the way he's more athletic than you would think. He's not a runner, but he's quicker than you think, and he's very accurate, and he's very smart.
Yeah, I would consider him a dual threat.
So I like their passing game tremendously, but their run defense, I just think South Carolina empties the kitchen sink, gets this one at least close for a minute, and Alabama wins, but doesn't win by 12.5. The Missouri one,
there's like 7 2.5 point spreads in the SEC
all over the place.
Week.
This was there are a lot of games we could have picked out. I almost picked your exact pick with Ole Miss over Oklahoma. Maybe I should with the way you're rolling this year, but I went with Missouri, and Vanderbilt looked awesome on tape last week against LSU. They looked like the faster team. They looked like the more physical team. They just looked like the more physically impressive ball club, which is crazy. It wasn't like an upset type of win where they're tricking them. I think they were actually the favorite.
Yeah,
but they
weren't. No, I was on Vanderbilt like come kickoff time, and I never doubted that game for a second. In total control,
control,
better than LSU by a good amount.
They were and home, which they are again. The vibes are great.
College game day there.
Yes,
I was actually surprised that this line was so small. It had me thinking, what do the odds makers know about Missouri? So tell me, what do the odds makers know about Missouri?
Well, Missouri's a well-structured team. They have a lot of NFL players on the lines. Their offensive line is very good with NFL players. Their defensive line is very good with NFL players, particularly on the pass rush. They have the most prolific running game in the country right now. Vanderbilt been playing great defense, but they're not like a physically dominant run defense like Georgia, which really who is like that anymore. Georgia's certainly not like that anymore, but they can't, you can run on Vanderbilt. They're not going to overwhelm you. So I just see this as a game where it's hard to sustain and beat these teams consistently and take that expectation. And the whole stadium is rocking 2 weeks in a row. And there's a lot of positions that these Vanderbilt players have not been in. What are you laughing about?
Joel Warren.
Yeah, he said follow D last week. My bookie's sweating me. I told him I had a guy who laughed at me. Let's get that dough back. I was 2-1 last week. I'm crawling back. We were both 2-1 last week. So come on, Joel.
But you're making some scary moves here, pal.
This could be an 0-3.
On Beamer and Freeze.
Some really struggling quarterbacks here.
I want to trust LSU this week, but I can't. Nussmeier's entered that, and Brian Kelly, they've entered this terrain.
Nussmeier made some terrible throws last week.
That's
Put the
one.
ball into harm's way.
You've been right a lot of times. I never saw with Nussmeier. There was like a couple throws where I'm like, okay, maybe I trust his scout, but dude, Big Nuss is a big dud.
Whoa, hold on. When I talked about it, the guy was a nothing. Now the guy's like not meeting expectations. It's not like he's like not a player.
He was always a Nuss guy, right, Pete?
Oh, I was a Nuss guy, but Nuss is going to get drafted. I mean, it's not like Nuss sucks. You think Nuss sucks? Like he's not good at all?
I think he might suck.
I don't know. I mean, come on.
I think Nuss sucks.
I mean, look, sometimes quarterbacks just have that break.
Sussmeier.
I mean, I don't know.
I think he may suck.
James Kane saying Sussmeier's overrated. 26 is saying, what was Nuss and nothing when he's coming out of like he hadn't started yet. I was hyping him up from just his garbage time.
He had plenty of hype.
Nuss is sus. All right, we'll see. I mean, right now, SEC, right? The only quarterback that you could say the only quarterback, as I look at this, let's see, who could you say is definitively good in the SEC?
I mean, Gunnar Stockton is starting to shut us up a little bit.
He
He's
could
playing
be.
like 2 weeks ago. I'd be like, there are 8 quarterbacks in that conference that I trust more than Gunnar Stockton.
I think we did say that and go through the list laughing at
We
him.
went through the list, and at the time we were right. We got to admit that we're wrong. Gunnar Stockton, he might be playing himself into the Heisman conversation. Honestly,
we'll see. But he is playing a lot better. And I mean, yeah, that was a Heisman type stat line last week in a winning effort. Yeah, I would say who do you take over him? I mean, for sure, Pavia. For sure, Ty Simpson. Marcel Reed, I think, is good, but the team makes him better too.
I like Marcel Reed over Stockton.
Yeah, I can see that. I think Reed has a better team around him.
I'm not taking Pabula.
Pabula definitely not. Trinidad James. I don't see
Chambliss.
I don't see that one.
You don't take him over Gunner? No, I mean they went head to head.
I still think Sellers is better than Gunner, but I can't say that based on like this production. Like I think if you put this guy in that offense, Sellers, he'd be unreal. But
Joey Aguilar has done it despite beating nobody. Why is Tennessee ranked over
a lot of Mateer?
Well, yeah, you know what happened with Mateer? I forgot they were in the SEC.
Yeah,
for a second.
And he is good, but he's still putting it together. I mean, he's got to finish the year.
Yeah. Gunner, we got to be able to walk that one back. Talon Green, he may make somebody happy he's a senior, right?
Yeah, he's an athlete. So anyways, Talon Green, I picked Auburn in this game. So I picked Arkansas last week, which was a winning bet to cover. So now we're switching up here. We got Auburn versus Arkansas, and I'm rolling with the Tigers.
What do you think happens in the Miami game?
Plus 2.5. Miami Hurricanes?
Yeah. That's too many points, right?
I wouldn't bet it.
I'm not laying that. I'm not laying those points.
I could see us playing a good game, right? I could see us having a complete performance just because a lot of naysayers, you're playing an opponent they really should beat. So it's even though
I sent my prediction in this morning.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So I got Camden Burden.
Yep.
What'd you send mine in too?
What'd you send in?
38-17.
Ooh, tight one.
A
lot of unhappy Hurricanes if that's the case. What are you thinking?
I put 42-13.
Yeah, I was gonna say 42-10. So maybe I gotta switch it up.
Right around that number. I think the odds makers kind of have it. I would have been worried. Frank Reich, this is a good smart head coach. I respect the head coach, and I know he watched that game and he's going to try to replicate some of those things. I don't think they have the same kind of personnel. I definitely don't think we're going to see all world interceptions the same way that we saw. I don't know if we play that game 100 times. I don't know if Louisville comes up with the same kind of catches they came up with in that game.
Yeah.
But I like how Miami is responding to this one behind the scenes. And it starts with a head coach who maybe it's because he has confidence in his team. I think he's going about this loss differently than years previous. It's still all there in front of Miami. There's even an argument to be said like, all right, if we don't make the ACC championship, if we win out, whatever. I know that that's a goal back-to-back years that we lose out because of weird scheduling quirks. Maybe that gets addressed with the additional game next year, but it works out better for Miami. But honestly,
win. Go one.
You'll make the CFP. You could. I know it's a scary time because the margin for error appears to be gone. Miami lost 2 games last year, both by 1 score, and the only reason they got shut out of the college football playoff, or at least what they were told with us when what was told to us when the reality was there were SEC teams in the mix. But what was told to us was they don't have any non-conference wins. What's their best win? That's not the case this year. So if you're gonna have Miami on that OLI zone, you need to find a new slant.
What's what's OLI?
Outside looking in.
Huh? Then you went for me. OLI.
What are they gonna say? Miami's defense wasn't good. They didn't beat anybody. You can't say that about Miami this year. I even at 2 losses, you got to assume that Notre Dame keeps running. So if it keeps running the table, their toughest game is behind them. So you're going to put a 2-loss Notre Dame team over a 2-loss Miami team that beat Notre Dame heads up? No, you can't do that. What's the excuse there? I actually think Miami does have a little bit more margin for error than people are saying, but let's not think that way. I think Miami does run the table from here on out in the regular season.
OLI. It sounds like one of those conferences they have like in the Fontainebleau, like the Ohio Lumber Institute, something like that. OLI.
He's always watching. Pete, I think he needs to be a fixture there.
The watchdog approves of that rant, Mike.
Tehran Terrier.
1-0 on Saturday. Be in your seats. Let's take back control of the fan zone.
It's
Let's
a weapon.
reclaim the fan zone for the Miami Hurricanes.
Good boy.
Let's make some noise. Let's drink some electric juice. We're going to like and subscribe to this show. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Good.